grounds as it is the third weekend of summer. Fact that it started right around noon, but at this point our problem area is still Lake Geneva towards the northeast. Here's another look at that Lake Geneva cruise cam, which is freezing probably because of how strong the wind and how heavy the rain is. This really was a strong storm, or is a strong storm that continues to impact that area as well as push towards the northeast into western parts of Racine County. Just going to check in real quick with the National Weather Service. It looks like there is a little bit of damage, a small pole down west, the west end of Fontana. So again, that Lake Geneva area. 2 trees down in Lake Geneva. So there is a bit of damage being reported now. And another update from the National Weather Service, the severe thunderstorm warning, so outside of the tornado warning in Racine and Kenosha County, actually upped for 80-mile-per-hour wind gusts. So your phone is now going to trigger within that severe thunderstorm warning for Racine and Kenosha County, because when we have the potential for 80-mile-per-hour wind gusts or stronger, that triggers the emergency alert system to your phone. So think that loud beeping noise. If there's an Amber Alert, that's what will go off. So your phones are probably sounding now in Racine and Kenosha County. We are on Fox Local right now. I urge you, if you are watching and you have loved ones within the Lake Geneva area or eastward into Racine and Kenosha County, I urge you to, if they're not watching right now, make sure they download the Fox Local app so they can stay tuned to this forecast and to this active weather, as we still have a tornado warning as well as a severe thunderstorm warning for parts of Walworth, Racine, and Kenosha County. We will go back to our storm relative velocity here, which is certainly still showing a little bit of rotation. Again, watching Burlington very closely. And I can put this into motion for you too, so you can get an idea of how it's strengthened a bit. This is in motion over the last 15 minutes. So we're certainly still, again, watching that. The worst of the strong wind is pretty much through Walworth now.
Have you seen the report of the tree, 10-inch tree?
Yes. Yes, that was some of the tree damage in parts of Walworth County, the Lake Geneva area. Is that the one you were talking about, Rob, or is that a new one?
And Fontana damage?
Yes, yes. So we continue to receive reports of wind damage in the Lake Geneva area. The good news, though, according to the National Weather Service, the strongest, here's an update to our velocity scan too, which looks a lot messier, which is somewhat good news there, but the strongest of the wind has moved through parts of Walworth County and now is inching its way towards Racine County. Not exactly seeing that tight little couplet that we had a couple of times, as this, has a history of kind of weakening and then strengthening again. So everybody within that warning, Racine, northwestern Kenosha County, still make sure you are in your safe spot. We're watching this little bulge right here, which is in southwestern parts of Racine County. That's what's going to continue to move northeast and bring in the possibility of the strongest wind and potentially the rotating wind as well. Now, everybody else within this area of thunderstorm activity, so think even, the part of this line in southern Kenosha County not included in the tornado warning, that severe thunderstorm warning was upped to the potential of 80-mile-per-hour wind gusts. That's destructive wind, unfortunately. So even for the spots within Racine and Kenosha County that are not specifically in the tornado warning, we need to be prepared for strong wind and certainly wind damage as this line works its way on through. Now, for the potential tornadic storm or part of this storm, here's a track for you. And this is moving pretty quickly. It's moving at about 50 miles per hour. Burlington, again, this is essentially in your area as we speak. We've got Rosewood, 1245, Union Grove, just after 1250, Raymond, closer to 1, but likely just a few minutes before that, Caledonia, 103. I know there's a lot of campgrounds in the vicinity, so make sure if you have, again, loved ones within especially a campground, but anywhere outdoors, make sure they know to get inside a sturdy building away from windows. It is best if you are able to get to a basement. If not, an innermost part of whatever structure you're in away from windows, the best place to be. And that goes for those also within the severe thunderstorm warning, because 80-mile-per-hour wind gusts, very strong wind, could still produce the same amount of damage as a low-end tornado warning, or tornado essentially. Well, here's a look at our debris tracker. I don't really see anything standing out. It's interesting though, because you really can still see that little bulge showing up on here as well. We did receive a handful of reports of tree damage from the Lake Geneva area, and then potentially some tornado damage in the town of Sharon in far southern Walworth County. So probably right as that tornadic cell was making its way on through. So that'll be something we backtrack and we continue to look at. I believe we actually have a crew maybe heading out to Walworth County as well. So we'll continue to keep you updated. Here's a look at our velocity scan. So we are really going to watch just north of Burlington. Again, Rosewood, you're about to see some of this strong wind working its way on through. This is tracking up towards the northeast, and it's not necessarily looking to be rotating at this point in time, but with the potential that we could still see those gusts between 70 and maybe 80 miles per hour. So regardless of if it's rotating or not, that's still really destructive wind that is in the process of working its way through western Racine County and far western Kenosha County. Again, the tornado warning kind of cuts off right here at the border, but a severe thunderstorm warning continues down towards the south. Any updates, Rob?
It looks like we've got it canceled actually now.
Oh, great. Okay.
Which is great news.
Goodness.
However, I think it's, I'm not sure my mic's on.
Oh, yeah.
I'll come over to where you.
Works.
We can both stand over
Sure.
there.
We're just standing off screen.
Disembodied voices. But yeah, it's a really good thing that the tornado warning has been canceled, but I also don't want people to underestimate the potential of straight line wind damage, right? Everything we saw yesterday and everything we have seen in many of the days recently, and not everything, but the vast majority of it has been straight line wind damage.
Right.
We've seen wind gusts up to 75 or 80 miles per hour. So like you were saying earlier with that 70 or 80, we definitely want to take straight line wind damage as seriously as the rotation. The velocity there,
Yes.
as you were talking about, definitely shows a little bit less in the way of rotation, which is why it was dropped, but it still shows the intensity. And I think I had the hail tracker up earlier.
Oh, yes, because we haven't really talked about the hail potential just yet. It's a lot smaller, if you will, or weakened just a little bit compared to when it was in Walworth County the last time you showed it. But we will still have the possibility for a little bit of that hail as this continues to work its way back through. Control room, you're talking to me. Can you repeat what you just said?
I think we were considering doing a quick cut-in over our World Cup coverage in Fox. With the change in the warning right now, I think we're going to stand down from that, guys. Let's stand down from our potential cut-in over the game right now, because we have had the tornado warning canceled at this point, so we can stand down from that. But we are going to get the crawl up and running, and we'll stay live with you on Fox Local. We've got the live desk up. This is our hail tracker. Again, because the tornado warning has been dropped, we're going to stand down from cutting in over the soccer game. Obviously, Fox's coverage of the World Cup continues on air. We want our viewers to be able to watch that in its entirety and the beauty of the beautiful game.
Rob, unfortunately, we can only access Stephanie's microphone, so if we could just get Steph's mic closer to Rob, that would help us out.
No problem.
Back over here because we're having just the singular mic while we're on Fox Local. But Steph, why don't you go back over there? I'll run the radar machine. You run the key wall, all right?
Sure. Why don't we go back to the warnings map?
Let's do that.
So we can look at that. So the good news is that the tornado warning will expire at 1:15, I believe, if it's not already canceled. Might just take a second for the map to update, but again, we still have the severe thunderstorm warning that goes until 1:30 as this continues to work its way, this area of thunderstorm activity, into parts of Racine as well as Kenosha County. The biggest
This might be something new though, Steph. This might be something new. So there we go. This is this just came up a couple of minutes ago. So this is now a tornado warning I know you can barely.
Sure. No, I think what happened is it was trimmed back for parts of Walworth, but it does still continue parts of Racine as well as northern Kenosha County. So still same end time there. And that is, again, for the potential of rotation, radar indicated rotation, although it looks a little messier than what it was earlier. But there is, wow, look at this. This is a wind signature. So this is likely some of that maybe 70 to 80 mile per hour straight line wind that we were talking about previously. So, and this is, more so far southern Racine County and then northwestern parts of Kenosha County. So we'll continue to see how that moves. In fact, I'll put it in motion a little bit so we can actually see how this is moving. Still tracking towards the northeast here. So again, we still have that severe thunderstorm warning in effect at this point in time, as well as the tornado warning in Racine and Kenosha County, thanks to some of this strong wind that is continuing to strengthen really in especially that area. In fact, I'm going to zoom in here a little bit so we can get a closer look. South of Rosewood, west of Brighton, Union Grove, you're going to be impacted by this as this works its way on through. And as we zoom in a little bit more, Eagle Lake, Yorkville potentially in that. We still have a little bit of time. Franksville maybe on the outer edge. But if we can maybe go back to reflectivity just real quick, Rob, and we'll kind of focus on what this storm actually looks like. So this full area, essentially, of southwestern Racine and western Kenosha County. This is all going to continue to move towards the northeast. It's moving really quickly at about 50 miles per hour. So the warnings expire between 1:15 and 1:30, meaning by, less than an hour, most of the strongest part of this storm, so the leading edge of this, will be out over Lake Michigan. Now notice out ahead of the main severe cell, we've got a little bit more development in eastern Kenosha County. That's not severe, but just some, additional rain that you will see, or initial rain, I should say, before this main storm starts to work its way on through. Haley, do we have any cameras in this vicinity? I know we don't have many in western parts of these counties.
We do not really have any cameras. We lost the Lake Geneva one. The only other camera we have right now was Kenosha, which is just showing some rain.
Sure.
But we will look for whatever we can possibly find, Steph.
No, all good. Thank you. I know we don't have cameras everywhere. It's okay. You can't have a camera everywhere. My main concern, again, goes back to anybody who is out celebrating with the fact that a lot of people do not have to work today. I know it's July 3rd, but technically the observed holiday, so I'm sure many are out and about. I already know a handful of people who are out in the vicinity camping for the weekend. Please make sure you are in your safe spot until this pushes through. I know a lot of campgrounds usually have some sort of structure with bathrooms at the very least. Try to seek those out. Obviously, do not stay in your tent or your camper or your cars, especially with how strong the wind potentially is as this moves towards the east to northeast. A reminder that we have the World Cup on Fox 6. We are on Fox Local. If you have loved ones in this area of either the tornado warning or severe thunderstorm warning, make sure they are aware of the forecast. Make sure that they download that Fox Local app so they can stay with us here. We will keep you updated all throughout the afternoon, even after this main line of storms moves through. This is where we'll be for you throughout the remainder of the day today. So just to recap, the tornado warning still goes. Oh, nope, you're totally fine. The tornado warning still continues until 1:15. It's 12:48 right now, so we do still have some time. And we've seen some of those velocity scans perking back up a little bit. So there's absolutely the possibility for, at the very least, 70 to 80 mile per hour wind. Even if it's not rotating, that would be strong straight line wind working its way through areas. Now, as this storm moved through parts of the Lake Geneva area, it did produce some damage. We had multiple reports of trees down. There was even a small flagpole that was down too in the Fontana area. And then the town of Sharon, which is farther towards the southwest, potential tornado damage. We did see a few pictures. Update from Rob? Okay, here, let me step off screen and I can.
Cancellation here.
Okay, great.
Of the tornado warning, which is wonderful. That camera that I had up behind you there was the. That was just on that smaller portion that's up over 94 or 41 there, and you saw how heavy the rain was in that. Can you imagine the actual core? But yeah, so the latest here is that the tornado warning for Racine and Kenosha counties has been canceled. That's good news right there.
The severe thunderstorm warning still in effect.
And that's still that straight line wind that you're talking about, Steph, which is really important. And then when you combine it with the higher level of traffic on the interstates and all of that rain that I was just showing you, let me see if I can bring that camera back up here. It's going to take a second to load, but
yeah, at the very least, you're going to do driving in falling rain and on wet pavement. And to your point, it is the holiday weekend. So please take it slow as you're out and about. Even if you're just in the Milwaukee area, maybe you're heading to Summerfest, you might encounter a few of those showers.
Well, I think AAA said this might be the most traveled, most driven July 4th weekend ever because it's on a Saturday.
Right, exactly. The timing is certainly there for everybody to be out and about. And today is supposed to be a really big travel day with the fact that today is the Friday before the 4th of July. Now, still watching those storms in Racine and Kenosha County especially. Great news that we've had the tornado warning expired. Look at just south of the border too. My goodness, there is a lot of lightning in some of those non-severe storms. Those may eventually clip into Kenosha County, but in the near term, we are still watching that area that's in far southwestern parts of Racine County and then western Kenosha County, continuing to move more so towards the east-northeast here. Northward into Waukesha, likely just a little bit more of that rain as we just showed you in that camera. There's those two counties. Severe thunderstorm warning continues until 1:30. Caledonia, Mount Pleasant, Salem, all included in that. Maybe we can check in on the hail tracker, Rob, because we haven't really talked a whole lot about that. I know the wind is the main issue here. Yeah, it looks like that's actually, oops, sorry, switching sides. West of Union Grove, there's still just a little hail core there, but we haven't really received much in the way of hail reports. It more so is just some of that tree damage that was originally in the Lake Geneva area as that storm moved through. I do just want to caution you as well, because we had the tornado warning that was in effect for Rock County, then it expired, then it was reissued. So we do still need to watch. I know it's getting closer to the lakeshore, but we do still need to watch this. There is the possibility, especially within that yellow area there, of wind gusts maybe even over 60 miles per hour there. And that's what we really need to watch, because that's where the strongest part of that storm is located. And it's in far northern parts of Kenosha County up to about Union Grove. But keep in mind, we could still see some spots translating to 70 to maybe even 80 miles per hour within this main bubble right here. So as this continues to move northeast, Union Grove, again, you're about to see the strongest of the wind. Racine, you will likely be impacted by this, and then surrounding areas. By then, or I should say, by 1:30 at the latest, this should be out over Lake Michigan, and we can breathe a sigh of relief. Here's another track for you. Summers, again, 12:55, so within the next couple of minutes. You can see Mount Pleasant on there, closer to 1 o'clock, and then just after 1, Racine. So maybe even before the warning technically ends, maybe some of the strongest part of that will expire. I hear a printout, so I'm going to step off screen, Rob, to see what that is. It looks like, a new warning for the rest of Racine and Kenosha County. So that would be East Central Racine County, as well as eastern Kenosha County. Not surprising at all with the fact that we're still seeing a wind signature that looks that strong. So it looks like this is for 60 mile per hour winds. So your phones are not going to go off like the previous severe thunderstorm warning with the possibility for 80 mile per hour winds, but still 60 mile per hour winds, very strong. And this is, again, the line that's approaching Mount Pleasant. It's moving east at about 50 miles per hour. So another track on the strongest part of that line. And you can see some of those times on there. Once again, Mount Pleasant, we just talked about, closer to about 1 o'clock. Racine, maybe 106, wind point closer to 108. And then it's going to be out over Lake Michigan. Now keep in mind the main area of strongest wind is really on the leading edge of this cell, this broken line, if you will. So just towards the west of the town of Somers, but you will still have strong, or I should say heavy rainfall even after the main area of wind works its way through. So it's going to be windy. It's going to be very rainy. From what we saw in Lake Geneva as this line moved through. Oh, here's a
Mount Pleasant cam stuff.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you, Rob. This is the Mount Pleasant camera. Look at the cars slowing down, actually. You can see brake lights. You can see just how heavy that rain is coming down. And again, you can see the wind in there as well. So that is certainly showing what is working its way through these areas. This is another 94 cam.
Yeah, this is really coming down.
It's absolutely heavy rain. So you've got the heavy rain plus the very strong wind. That's a possibility here as this continues to move through. Best to just stay inside and not travel. I promise you, we're looking at dry time once we get this storm out of here. No change to the wind signature. It's Union Grove and southward, really almost to Interstate 41. So that's also something to watch out for. It looks like this is that 145 or 142? I clearly have terrible eyesight, but 142, thank you. So there's some strong wind right around that stretch of interstate, and then this will continue to push up towards the northeast. So if you know anybody traveling, make sure they're aware that this certainly could bring in the type of rain where it's really reduced visibility. We've all driven in that. It's not fun. You likely need to slow down a bit. Right, that's what I was going to say. Mount Pleasant hasn't seen the worst of it.
I think the camera's down now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's not beating anything anymore.
Okay, so maybe some strong wind.
Knock the cables out.
Knocked the cables out. There you go. Yeah, this is a really strong storm working its way through. It's had the history again of some of those stronger wind gusts. Of course, it has the history of potentially producing a tornado in Rockton, Illinois. Oh, what's this one?
Steph, this is Kenosha right now.
Kenosha. Wow. And there is that low visibility rain that I was just referencing. And the camera clearly shaking around a ton. So this is that 142 that we were just referencing?
Yes.
Wow.
That's crazy. I got the Sturtevant camera. Actually, it just lost its speed too.
All of our cameras are starting to drop because of some of this wind. Have we heard anything new from the National Weather Service?
There hasn't been anything big. They still have the warning there. I wanted to check on some of our WeatherBug cameras, our old smart WeatherNet system that is still up and running.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Just to see what's going on there. It might actually have its feed down too because I'm not getting
it looked sunny.
Yeah, it's still sunny. Here we go. Maybe we can get. No, it's still not. Oh, yeah, that's interesting. I think we're losing some of the data feeds because of some of this wind and maybe some power outages in the area as well. Because to lose all this information, I mean, we're still getting our radar. We're still able to cover the storm, but to lose those cameras like that probably indicates some sort of Wi-Fi or internet connection being down in the area, maybe a power outage, like I said. And this is just from the straight line wind, right? And the frequent, look at how frequent the lightning
down
is
towards the south in Illinois.
South. Oh, and they're not even in a warning.
Right,
That's
exactly.
An unwarmed cluster of storms.
Yeah, so that one's full of lightning. Ours is full of wind as well as heavy rainfall. Thankfully, no active tornado warning anymore, but we are still watching that wind signature that's near and south of Union Grove and likely still moving towards the northeast here. So the rest of Racine County, maybe more east-northeast. So again, town of Somers, I would still stay indoors until this makes its way through because we don't want to mess with that potential for strong wind. Here's another track for you. Again, Somers, this is moving in as we speak. Sturtevant, maybe not previously talked about, maybe just after 1 o'clock, and Mount Pleasant just a little after that. So you can see the general trend of where this main area of wind. Oh, and there's an update for you too from the velocity scan. It looks like it's maybe a little messier, but still it's moving right into that area that we were just highlighting. So the town of Somers is likely dealing with this right now. So Racine heads up to the lake shore. This is what's going to be moving in here in really the next 10 to 15 minutes. Then it'll be out over the lake as far as the strongest wind goes, but we will still see heavy rainfall. Could see ponding on roadways, could see reduced visibility. It's not the time to travel right now. Again, that Kenosha camera, Haley, I'm assuming?
Yep, this is Kenosha, that low visibility right there.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, you can kind of see the sign, but you can also just tell that these cars are moving very slow. It almost looks like they're not moving at all. And you can just see the wind too, shaking that camera around. So it is still very possible that we see wind damage from this as it moves through the remainder of Racine and Kenosha County. Notice behind it, there is still some lingering thunder and lightning, but nothing compared to this main area of severe weather moving through, and then tons of lightning down towards the south, which Kenosha, you likely saw a little bit of that move towards the north, but the heaviest or the strongest part of this particular area of thunderstorm activity really is moving through parts of Racine County as we speak. Once it's out of here, that severe thunderstorm warning should absolutely be allowed to expire right at 1:30. In fact, the strongest part of the storm will be out of here even before that warning ends. But keep in mind, it does now include all of Racine and Kenosha County, not just those western parts of the storm. Up towards the north a little bit more, Waukesha as well as Milwaukee County may start to see, at least southern parts of Milwaukee County might start to see a little bit of rain. Here's the latest on those warnings again as we continue to see those for let's see, the next 30 minutes for at least the severe thunderstorm warning for eastern Racine as well as Kenosha County. It looks like maybe western parts of the county actually end at 1:15. Maybe we take a look at what's up towards the north a little bit more. I know we're going to be watching Summerfest very closely. It does look like southern Milwaukee County. There's a little shower there, but that's out ahead of that severe cell. And then a few showers with some embedded thunder and lightning out near Waukesha. We'll watch that as it moves eastward because, again, even though it looks like it's fizzling or at least weakening a little bit, not severe, but even with lightning embedded in there, that is something that Summerfest goers will need to be aware of as it moves in here shortly. But otherwise, it truly is what's moving through eastern parts of Racine County down to the lakeshore where there is a lot of lightning just towards the south of us in Illinois. Still the potential for very strong wind as this cell moves through. We're especially looking in this yellow bubble here, which is where wind gusts could be at the very least 60 miles per hour. Earlier, there was the potential for 70 to 80 mile per hour wind gusts. It does look like it's more so closer to 60 at this point in time, but there is a severe thunderstorm warning for a reason. So that's strong wind. I do agree. We are getting there likely as it gets closer to Lake Michigan. In fact, even this camera, I feel like we can see a little bit more.
Yeah,
out of
visibility
this
definitely
right now.
improving here. Again, this is that live look in Kenosha, and I was going to say you can definitely make out more parts of the highway now, Steph.
Yeah, it doesn't look like those cars are just stopped, though.
Yeah.
You see the hazard lights on some of them. That's never a good sign. You just know the rain is so heavy and the wind is strong. So this is what we're going to continue to watch here for the next 15 minutes or so, I'd say at the very least. As far as what we could see later on this afternoon, still very uncertain. It's possible that we see less activity later this afternoon and evening because of what's actually moving through right now, but it still is a bit of a wait and see. So any more outdoor events happening? I know fireworks in many communities are tonight as well as tomorrow night. You will still want to be prepared for rain and some thunder. It's not going to be a complete washout, but it's likely that at least some point during our festivities the next couple of days that they are impacted by some rain and some thunder. So keep the rain gear handy, maybe in the car. Going to parades tomorrow, bring it with you just in case. But that's just the reality of the pattern that we're in right now.
Steph,
what'd you say, Haley? Sorry, I think
I was going to say, we're looking for some new weather cams. A lot of them are down right now because of the storm. Our weather truck officially on the road. They're making their way right now to Elkhorn. You can see the sky here.
Oh, great,
certainly
yeah.
looking ominous, but we will continue to check in as they start that journey. But look at the sky. A live look again at our weather truck. They're on their way to Elkhorn right now. But again, yeah, we're trying to find you as many weather cams as we can. As I mentioned, a lot of them down right now because of the storm.
And understandably so. We actually just got a storm report from Pleasant Prairie of a wind gust of 58 miles per hour. And again, in Kenosha right now. So this report from Pleasant Prairie, and it makes sense looking at this Kenosha camera too, seeing how strong that wind likely is. But good to know we have a crew out near Elkhorn or going towards Elkhorn because we did receive numerous severe weather, or I should say, wind damage reports from the Lake Geneva area. We had one from Fontana, and then again the town of Sharon. This actually developed or really strengthened near Rockton, Illinois, so just south of the Illinois state line, just south of Beloit. It moved through Beloit. That was also a fascinating camera to watch during our 11 a.m. newscast. Very dark and ominous, and then the rain came down, and it has since just continued to move towards the northeast. It looks like that severe thunderstorm warning, again, only for eastern parts of Racine and Kenosha County now. The western severe thunderstorm warning canceled a little earlier because the strongest part of the storm is now towards the east. Interesting to see some of this lightning now, I think, creeping into Kenosha County. So far southern parts of Kenosha County, you're probably seeing a little bit more lightning right now compared to earlier, and that's more so because of these storms that are in northern Illinois just getting a little bit closer. The strong wind, absolutely the possibility from here, especially in Racine County, but it is approaching the lake shore. So another 15 minutes or so, and we should get this thing out of our area and be able to quiet things down. Sadly, probably clean up a little bit because of how strong the wind potential is here. So we received that one report of 58-mile-per-hour wind gust in Pleasant Prairie. We've got those couple of damage reports out towards the west. Here's another 94.
This is a live look here in Pleasant Prairie, Steph.
Oh, great. All looks okay. I think probably the strongest wind, which is interesting because I know we got that report, but my guess is that some of the strongest wind is probably just north of Pleasant Prairie, but still wet pavement, raindrops covering the camera lens. It's never fun to drive in a heavy rain. It's quite possibly the worst thing. So sadly, everybody on the interstate right now certainly dealing with some of this strong, heavy rain, strong wind as it works its way on through. Up towards the north, Waukesha County still dealing with some light rain. We will likely see this move into Milwaukee County, at least central and southern Milwaukee County. So a couple of light rain showers possible at the Summerfest grounds. Not seeing as much lightning within that at this point, but you can still see a little bit of it also in northwestern Racine County. So if we see that part making its way to the northeast, that could be just south of the Milwaukee area. We're just about done with this. The warnings expire between 1:15 and 1:30. It's 1:05 right now, so we are getting close, but still, if you're near the lake shore, stay indoors for a little bit longer until this is out over the lake, because it's had that history of producing strong wind and wind damage. Going to step off screen just for a second and see if we have anything else developing out west, which doesn't really look like it, which is some great news there. I know that line down in Illinois, all warned still too, from the Chicagoland area down to about LaSalle or west of Ottawa. But just north of it, Waukegan area, not actually under a warning. You're just dealing with a ton of lightning right now. Kenosha getting hammered as we speak with some of that heavy rainfall. Same with about to be Racine. It looks like it's maybe just out towards the west. I'm just looking through our chat system to see if there's anything new, and I don't really see anything, so that's some good news. Let's see. Wind signature is just about over the lake. We are getting very close, everybody. Yes, you can kind of see it. A good chunk of it now out over Lake Michigan, that is. Racine, though, you're still on the northern edge of this, and then down into far northeastern Kenosha County, you guys are likely still getting some pretty strong wind gusts, maybe even out west to Sturtevant. So we're not quite done yet, but we are getting very, very close, and it'll be interesting to see what damage reports we receive after this moves through. Obviously, it's hard in the moment to see what's been happening. A lot of traffic in this cam. Is this a Milwaukee cam, or is this that Kenosha one again?
This is Kenosha. We can see the kind of a better idea now of the cars. Certainly driving slow, but obviously visibility has improved here, Steph.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure the traffic is because they were so slow going through that storm. So very, very understandable. Obviously not the best timing to have thunderstorms. You know, we knew this earlier in the week that our high pressure was going to break down by Thursday, and we would start to see these rounds of thunderstorms all the way through the holiday weekend. We did see some late last night, or I should say yesterday evening too. We had a pretty incredible shelf cloud move through our area here in Brown Deer at the station, but also brought in some wind damage with the gust front that moved through earlier. And then Tuesday night, some of our northern communities had some severe weather. So it's been a little bit more active, certainly, over the last couple of days, and this is just adding to it. So eastern Racine towards the lakeshore down to Kenosha, starting to see, number one, a bit more lightning, and number two, still a little bit of that strong wind. Notice this, though. This is so crazy interesting. That bulge, that bowing part of the storm, again, now out over Lake Michigan, that's where likely the strongest wind is right now. So maybe the strongest of it is finally out over the lake, but even those right along the lake shore here and just towards the west still could see some of those stronger gusts up to about 60 miles per hour. We're getting there, Haley. We're doing it. It's been quick, to say the very least. You know, this started at noon or just before noon, and it'll be out of here in the next 15 minutes. And now it's only really impacted, we should point out, southern parts of our viewing area, which means northern parts of our viewing area won't be as worked over. So if we do still see more development going forward later this afternoon, maybe later this evening, again, timing is still so questionable, but this should help us, you know, figure out what's next. It could still be impactful for some of our northern communities, since they haven't quite seen too much here since the morning.
Stephanie,
out towards the west, it actually looks like the sun is coming out too, so that'll be something to monitor.
We're hearing from Maddie Stelk, obviously one of our hosts here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. She was on her way home, and she just actually pulled over in Racine to shelter at a gas station because it's so difficult to drive right now. So we'll try and chat with her in a few minutes. But certainly, several people on the roads seeing and feeling the impacts of this storm system.
Yeah, and a lot of people traveling home from the Chicagoland area, or maybe, I know I have cousins who are going from central Illinois up to southern Wisconsin to camp. So it's busy.
Lake Geneva. Very busy in Lake Geneva this time of year, this weekend. I just got off the phone with our Bill Miston, who is en route with his photographer, Eddie, and they're going to go down through the Walworth area. They're going to visit the Fontana area, Lake Geneva. There's some big reports of rather large-sized trees taken down there. We talked about that earlier, and then end up down toward Sharon as well, where there may have been some tornado damage. So we'll keep them up to date, and of course watch for that up-to-date video and report from Bill and Eddie coming up later on.
Absolutely. Thanks, Rob. And again, in the meantime, we've got at least another 5 minutes before this warning expires. It does really appear that the strongest is out over Lake Michigan. I'll zoom in a little bit more. So really good sign here that things are beginning to wind down. I would just say the Wind Point area, Racine, all the way down to Kenosha. So Maddie, give it a few more minutes and you'll be able to be on your way. Unfortunately, though, I mean, Maddie specifically, she's still going to encounter a lot of strong thunderstorms as she heads into Illinois. So keep that in mind if you are planning on traveling to the Chicagoland area. I would almost give it another hour before you make your way down there. So Haley, you can pass that along to
Maddie's officially in the Zoom, so her facials right now as she reacts to what you're saying, Steph. She is, as I mentioned, Maddie, I'm going to pull you up here really quickly. She is
Maddie,
on the road. She's trying to make her way, but it sounds like take another hour or so to wait, Maddie.
Maddie, stop at a restaurant, eat some lunch, and then you'll be just fine. Oh, man.
She's not driving.
No, she's pulled over.
Maddie, I don't know if we can even hear you.
Oh, is my volume not working?
Oh, now we can
hear you now.
Oh, I said I'm on my way to a wedding.
Oh, no. Okay, details of this wedding.
Well, I can show you. Here, nobody wants to see me. I'll show you guys what I'm looking at. This is what it looks like now. I guess looks are deceiving, but I was looking at that radar stuff as you were talking, and I was like, oh, no. But, yeah, I was listening to, like, my throwback playlist. And then I got the alert on my phone, and then everyone just started exiting and getting off. And I was like, oh, no.
Yeah.
But then I was looking at the radar and I was like, this is going to be directly where I'm headed as well. So not
goodness.
great. But it seems like people are pulling out. Like, it was pouring rain just a few minutes ago. So
I'm actually really impressed to hear that people were exiting. It was really interesting to see in some of those cams how slow some of the cars were going. But yeah, exiting if you're able to is always a great option. And it's never for that long, as I'm sure Maddie can attest to. But if you are trying to head south to Chicago, I would give it a little extra time, not because of what we have here locally, because things are finally beginning to wind down here in Racine and Kenosha County. But even as you just cross closer to the Waukegan area, rain, thunder, not severe, ongoing at this point in time with a lot of lightning, but then the storms, even farther towards the south, not even quite to Chicago. So you think the interstate, it's likely going to be a bit stormy here for the next hour or so. But back to our area, again, it's really Racine. You guys are just about done with this, but the rain is likely still heavy. The wind is probably still quite gusty. And then a lot of that lightning is from the storms just south of the Illinois state line near the Waukegan area, but likely creeping into far southern Kenosha County. Look at western parts of these counties too, beginning to dry out, but you'll still see a little bit of lightning here or there. So even though this looks like a really weak rain moving through, there could still be some embedded thunder and lightning within that. Here's a better look at the Chicagoland area and northern parts of Illinois, and it essentially looks like what we just saw move through our southern communities. Plenty of severe thunderstorm warnings, likely for wind. The potential of some of that strong straight-line wind, a lot of lightning, and a lot of heavy rainfall. I haven't seen anything flood related, so that's some good news there. But still, as you're out and about today, make sure, especially in the next hour, you're watching for maybe some of that ponding on roadways or just some bigger puddles in general. Otherwise, I haven't heard of any concerns in that department. So all is well, just waiting a short time longer for some of these warnings to be canceled, which really should be here soon, likely in the next minute for one of these warnings. So there you go. One is gone right at 1:15, and I highly doubt this will continue until 1:30. My guess is that will be canceled here, maybe even in the next 5-10 minutes, because the bulk of the strongest part of that storm is out over Lake Michigan. So from here, we do still have the chance to see more thunderstorm activity develop later this afternoon and evening. It's just a little too hard to tell right now what else will develop off of, maybe boundaries that were put in place from these storms, because it's so far south. It's possible the boundary pushes storms into Illinois, but it's just too soon to tell. So still be prepared later on this afternoon, later tonight for fireworks, that there is still at least a chance for more thunderstorms to develop. And same with the 4th of July. Closer look of Racine and the lakeshore up to about the Wind Point area. You can even tell that some of the rain is still a little heavier, even inland. Heaviest is right along the lakeshore, but even inland is still probably coming down. And then just towards the south of Kenosha, this is likely where a lot of that lightning is right now and where some of the heaviest rain is. But once again, it is all moving out of our area, and it does appear that the strongest wind, even the severe wind, is now out over Lake Michigan. So even the Racine area should start to quiet things down here in just a bit, Haley. So we have covered a lot in the last hour and 15 minutes.
Yes.
We will be here all day in case anything else pops.
All right. Well, we appreciate you, Steph, for all of the tracking that you've been doing, you and Rob both. And of course, we'll check in with you guys again shortly. I think in the meantime, I'll just give a couple of live looks that we have around the area. This is our city center camera, and I do think that it looks just a little bit eerie and spooky. Normally, when we look at this camera, the sun is shining. It's 1:16, but they are very much in the shade and the shadows right now as this storm system does kind of go through Milwaukee and Milwaukee County. Also, another live look here from the road. Again, this is our weather truck that is currently making its way to Elkhorn. They just started this journey maybe about 20 minutes ago, so still got some ways to go, but it does give you a better look at the sky and the kind of conditions here right now. You can even see some raindrops on our camera. This is the camera that's on the roof of that vehicle. So again, just a rainy day right now through southeastern Wisconsin. Also give you a look here at the Marquette interchange, a little bit brighter than that city center camera shot that we showed you a few minutes ago. Interesting enough, if you look in the background, American Family Field still has their roof open. I would imagine maybe they're going to close that pretty soon. Brewers are not in town. There's no home game tonight, but you would still think they want to protect the turf and the field there. So I imagine that will close shortly, especially when you look at the sky right now and how ominous it is. And I'll leave you with this one. This was our live look at Kenosha. And if you've been with us throughout the last hour, when we first took this camera, you could not see anything except a little bit of the yellow words on that sign. You can clearly still tell the wind still very much present here in Kenosha as this camera shakes up and down and side to side, but visibility has improved as we can now see both sides of the highway. We can see those cars. Interesting enough, don't see any hazards flashing anymore, so I imagine speed's starting to pick up a little bit on the road right now, but you can tell these cars still taking it slow out there in Kenosha. We mentioned it before, I'll mention it again. 4th of July, obviously a big road trip kind of holiday weekend. If you need to hit the road and you don't need to leave right now, I think it's best just give us a little bit more time to pass through the area. But of course, please take your time wherever you are traveling to. If you encounter a storm, do what Maddie did. Pull over, take shelter for a little bit. I promise it's way more exciting when you actually make it to wherever you're going safely than when you save, 15 to 20 minutes. So again, our weather experts still very much keeping track of this storm system. I'll give you another look here at City Center, and then I'll also check in once again with our weather truck and just the sky here, where all you see is that kind of gray taking over the area as we wait for some more storms and rain to hit us. So again, they're going to stay on top of this. And the weather experts, Rob Haswell, Stephanie Barrichello, will keep you informed too right here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. We are live and with you all the way till 4 p.m. and that's when our afternoon newscast will start. So we got you covered all Friday long. For now, we'll take a very quick break and we'll be right back after this.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Wisconsin Live Desk. Haley Spittler here with you at 1:22 on your holiday weekend Friday. Today, July 3rd. Tomorrow, obviously, the 4th of July, America's 250th birthday. So we know a lot of you guys probably out and about traveling this weekend. If you haven't already hit the road, I imagine many of you will today. And again, we are monitoring some storms that are moving through parts of Wisconsin right now. The good news is we've seen a lot of the warnings already expire. There was that severe thunderstorm warning that was in effect until 1:30. Everything else, though, has ended so far. Weather experts still busy tracking the rest of this system. They will hop on if they need to, but we want to keep giving you a live look here at City Center, where, again, just so much of Milwaukee right now seems to be shaded and kind of in the dark. The sun nowhere to be seen. Instead, just all these dark and stormy clouds. I'll give you another live look again at our weather truck on its way to Elkhorn, where you can kind of just see, again, this blanket of gray when you look up to the sky. So make sure and stick with us. We're going to continue to cover the latest on this system, as well as maybe getting you some of the damage reports from that system that already went through. You know, parts of Kenosha, parts of Elkhorn. I know Racine hit kind of heavy in this initial system. So again, stick with us. We'll continue to cover the very latest. As again, I know so many of you guys most likely planning to hit the road here soon, if you haven't, to get wherever you're trying to go this July 4th weekend. So going to keep just kind of circling through some of the live cameras that we have for you. Again, if you're just tuning in with us, our weather expert is going to join us again shortly here with some damage reports. They were just on with us for about the last hour and a half, all the way through as that system made its way through our area. At parts we had tornado warnings and some thunderstorm warnings, but again, this is on its way out. I believe that last warning set to expire here at 1:30. I'll show you another live look here at the Marquette interchange, where you can kind of see almost a split view of the sky. One part nice and bright, the other part where that kind of blanket of gray is. And we have seen certainly improvements here in Kenosha. Still very windy there, but we can actually see the roads now. Delaney, at some point, it'd be cool to check in as well with the Lake Geneva camera. At one point, that was very, very heavy rain and just the wind you could see in the water. We actually lost the camera for a little bit while the storm was at its heaviest and strongest point. So again, we will keep checking in on a couple of different things. I want to get to your outages and see what it's looking like right now with We Energies. We'll pull that up. Okay, a lot of We Energy customers without power right now in the dark. We're looking at 32,470 customers who currently do not have power. And it's really no surprise here. The top two counties where we were seeing that strong storm go through, Racine and Kenosha County. Racine County almost at 13,000 customers without power. Kenosha County at just above 11,000. Of course, other counties still hit hard here as well. Milwaukee, that's about 5,500 people without power this July 3rd afternoon. Walworth County also up there with 1,800. So again, we know that was a strong system that just came through our area. We saw Maddie Stelk actually pull over. Didn't feel like she could safely drive through it, which again, if something like this pops up again this afternoon, that's the right move, is to take some time, pull over, make that system kind of go on, and then you can get back on the road so you can get wherever you need to go safely. But certainly a lot of customers right now without power. We'll continue to monitor this. We'll see if we can actually reach out to We Energies as well and see kind of their plan here to try and get as many people their power back as quickly as possible. Want to go ahead and bring our weather expert, Stephanie Barrichello, back with us as well. Stephanie, obviously you've been very busy this afternoon. I know you were starting to kind of go through some of the damage reports. What's the very latest here?
The majority of the damage reports are coming in from Walworth County, and then especially the Lake Geneva area. We're still continuing to get them in. In fact, there's another printout, so let me grab it, and then I can kind of go through what we've got as far as reports across our area. So we had Walworth, a few tree limbs down and a flagpole down. I believe we actually talked about that in real time as that storm moved through. A 2-foot diameter tree down in parts of Lake Geneva. Let's see, multiple tree limbs down Boner's Lake area and near Lyons, which Lyons stands out because that is where some of the rotation really tightened earlier today around that area. So interesting that we're starting to get at least a little bit of tree damage reported from there. I'll step off screen again real quick and we can cycle through a few more on our actual warning map, or not our warning map, excuse me, our storm reports. You can once again see them primarily across Walworth County as well as Rock County. There was one wind report from Pleasant Prairie that we went through earlier. I'm pretty sure we went through the majority of these, but we can go through them again. The town of Sharon, we did actually receive some pictures through our chat system with the National Weather Service of some damage, and that one will be really interesting to see. And I know we have a crew heading to Walworth County, but I do wonder if the National Weather Service will maybe go out and survey that area because the damage was pretty substantial. Open area, of course, maybe barn related or something like that. But otherwise, the rest of our reports are all tree limbs down. We already went through that one in Walworth with the flagpole as well. That's essentially what the majority of the thunderstorm damage or wind damage is from our area. I actually wanted to broaden the view a little bit, and you were just going through power outages. Remember, we saw severe weather yesterday evening as well. So some of the storm reports that you see north of Waukesha, that's actually from yesterday evening when we had a handful of severe thunderstorm warnings, a beautiful shelf cloud moved through, but there were also a lot of wind damage reports from up towards the north, or at least, Watertown north of Waukesha, potentially a few little downbursts. I know the Pewaukee area yesterday evening, we were looking at wind signatures suggesting maybe a microburst or a downburst, and then same with around our station to about Mequon. And again, this was yesterday evening. It just goes to show that we certainly have had a more active pattern set in. We also had severe weather in some of our northern counties late Tuesday night, early Wednesday morning. So we've again seen things pick up a bit in the last couple of days. Now we have no more warnings. That last severe thunderstorm warning was allowed to expire. In fact, it's 1:30 right now. It actually was allowed to expire just a couple minutes ago. So we are in the clear of severe thunderstorm warnings, and we are beginning to dry out and quiet down. We technically still have a severe thunderstorm watch for some of these southern communities that goes until 7 p.m. So we'll wait and see what the thought process is behind keeping this severe thunderstorm watch potentially until that end time. But you can see most of southeast Wisconsin, we really are quieting things down. It looks very ominous. Even here at the station, it looks very dark. But in our neck of the woods, parts of Waukesha and Milwaukee County, it really is just a little bit in the way of some light rain. Oh, never mind. Speaking of, it's like they knew I was talking about it. The severe thunderstorm watch was canceled a little bit early. Fantastic news there. It's amazing. We're still continuing to get more of those damage reports. I'll see what this next one is too. Storms are south of us in the Chicago area, but here locally, I do want to zoom in and actually see. I'm going to step off screen for just a second. See where some of those lighter rain showers are. It looks like that latest damage report was from the Pell Lake area. So that's a new one. And that is just reports of some tree branches down. So that'll be another area to check out potentially. All right, here's what we've got here locally. I know, again, Waukesha, Milwaukee, it probably looks like a huge storm is moving in. I can already tell looking outside onto our weather deck, and our shades are closed, but I can tell how dark it is. There you go. Beautiful shot of Milwaukee, but I know it looks like it's about to storm. It also looks like there might be some modest clouds at the top of your screen. You see those, Haley? Those are those little bubbles?
Yeah.
Good for you for knowing what modest clouds are. I'm proud of you. Just some rain showers about to move in. Again, Waukesha, Milwaukee County, nothing big here. No more lightning showing up, so that's great news for Summerfest, but might get a nice refreshing shower pushing through the Summerfest grounds here shortly. Still some lightning in Kenosha and just towards the south too. That'll be, again, out over the lake in just a couple of minutes, and then we've got some lingering cloud cover out towards the west, but still going to continue, I'm sure, now that all of this is winding down, to see more of those damage reports, but it really will be parts of Walworth County. In fact, I'm thinking on the fly here, so go with me. I want to go back through. You guys don't have an interview, right?
We do not. You are our most important story right now, Steph. You take all the time.
I just figured this might be fun to go through. the last 45 minutes to look at where some of these strong velocity scans were. Okay, so this was starting, oh wait, maybe this hasn't cycled through yet. Oh, it's 12:47, okay. That doesn't seem far enough. Give me a second. All right, let's go back the last 2 hours. Okay, so we saw that south. This is so crazy. Look at this, Haley. Cut me off if I'm being boring, by the way.
Oh, you're not.
So you can see south of Beloit, this little couplet right here is what prompted the first tornado warning. And now that moved through Rockton, Illinois, which is in the vicinity there, and then moved just towards the southeast of Beloit, which you can see as we continue to put this into motion. And then it weakened a little bit, then started to strengthen a bit more as we got towards Darien. But I don't believe Darien was in a tornado warning. And then you really start to see some of these stronger wind signatures as it gets closer to Racine County. But really, I mean, the Lake Geneva area, west of Burlington, down to Walworth, maybe not quite Elkhorn or Delavan, but I would say, I mean, Sharon to Walworth to Lake Geneva, maybe East Delavan, Williams Bay. I mean, that's where all of our damage reports are essentially coming in from, and radar certainly suggests that there was at the very least some strong wind. And even the National Weather Service is kind of chiming in here that their first thought is that this was likely more straight line wind or maybe downburst related rather than tornadic, with the exception of the town of Sharon, because that main couplet, again, was still a little more pronounced as it was moving into far southwestern parts of Walworth County. So it'll be interesting to see if they decide to go survey tomorrow. But just to recap, Haley, we have seen all of the warnings expire. Even the watch was allowed to be canceled earlier. Most of the lightning is out over the lake with the exception of far southern Kenosha County. And we've got a little bit of cloud cover still across most of southeast Wisconsin, and then clearing skies out towards the west. Now, the trickiest part about forecasting in these types of events is that we'll have to see if there are any leftover boundaries from these storms, because if there are, depending on where they are located, it is possible that we do end up seeing more storms develop. But it's a really hard thing to essentially pinpoint, and especially timing wise. So it's very possible that this is the worst of the activity we see today, especially in southern communities. But I am still going to keep a chance in for some more pop-up thunderstorms, especially later on this evening. If we see the sunshine, which we likely will, it will likely be enough to just destabilize our atmosphere. You know, we talk about this all the time. If the sun comes back out, then it's very possible we see more development. But good news again that the worst of this is now out of our area.
It's just so interesting what a difference an hour or so can make. You were just showing us the velocity in those areas in Lake Geneva, and I was going to pull up the live look here of that camera, which every time we go to it, it just starts freezing on us.
It's trying so
But I
hard.
promise when we were taking the live look just seconds ago, it is so much calmer there now. And before, I mean, this was a crazy live look just an hour or so ago, Steph. So
it was. I mean, Rob and I were watching this in real time, and you could see the wall of rain coming and multiple boaters. I just felt so bad for them. They were speeding to get back to shore. It was just, I mean, these storms did develop pretty quickly out towards the west. Lake Geneva this time of year especially, I am sure, is packed. So I do hope everybody was able to get to a safe spot, but this was a really fascinating camera because it showed just how quickly that storm moved in, and it went from 0 to 100 within, it felt like seconds.
Yes.
You could see the tree line at one point, and then it was completely gone. Then it was wind whipping rain. You even saw the waves pick up. This was a really good tool to have as the storm
still
moved
windy
through.
right now. Look at the flags in the background there. They're still whipping here in Lake Geneva.
Yeah, absolutely. And it'll probably still stay a bit on the windy side for a bit longer. It does look like more people are going out onto one of the cruise ships, though, so maybe they're going to break that
Well, I
back
wonder
out.
if all these people retreated during the heavy parts of the
that's true.
storms, and now they're able to go back on, that it's calmer. I wonder.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, not the greatest place to shelter from a storm, but if it's there, and there was not much time to get to anything sturdier, this really was just fascinating. It looks like there's another boater out on the lake too. I wonder if they're also coming back for the first time, if they got stuck.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, Lake Geneva, unfortunately, just again, terrible time of year to be hit by severe weather. We always know it's possible, but speaking of Lake Geneva, we did get another storm report, this one of another large tree down, Springfield Road and Highway 120. So that's the history that we've got right here. All of our reports, essentially tree damage reports in and around Lake Geneva or southern Walworth County.
I just want to keep looking at some of these cameras. Sometimes, weather is just so mesmerizing to look at, and the way the sky is right now, where part of it can be so gray and eerie, but then the sun's starting to peek through here. It's like the buildings are in the shadows, but you can see the sun in the background there, Steph.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and that's because the sun is shining in some of our northern communities. Fond du Lac, Sheboygan County, it's probably mostly sunny right now, whereas the farther south you go, we've got the clouds from the storms and from some of the rain showers that are still across Waukesha as well as Milwaukee County. Is this, I'm assuming, Bill driving? Well,
this is
Bill
Rissa's on her way right now in the weather truck. She's going to eventually make her way to Elkhorn. She didn't leave, maybe she left like 30 minutes ago, so still on her way there. But another good look at the sky. Definitely looks like it's dried out for now. Before we were seeing some raindrops on that roof camera of the weather truck, which is gone. But again, just the sky right now, so mesmerizing to look at.
It is, and it's, again, just thanks to the combination of storms out over the lake and sunshine north and then more clouds out towards the west. It's an interesting midday, early afternoon, certainly, and it is worth noting that there are still some showers in northern Waukesha as well as central Milwaukee County, and then still ongoing towards the south, but looking at satellite, again, Fond du Lac, Sheboygan County, you guys are probably enjoying some sun. And soon as you look towards the west, you'll see some sun from some of the clearing out near Madison and southwestern Wisconsin. Here's a new report. Wind gust report, the strongest we've seen so far. We had that 58 mile per hour report in Pleasant Prairie. Now we have Eagle Lake of 65 miles per hour. So that's an even stronger storm, absolutely prompting that severe thunderstorm warning that was from a private weather station. So very interesting to see not only some of the damage reports, but some of the official wind reports that were within the storm, because velocity scans, again, at one point in time, they really looked strong between the rotation and then just the possibility of those 70 to 80 mile per hour wind gusts, which we haven't quite seen reports of that just yet. We're going to continue to see more filtering in now that the storms are done. But this was really targeting, our southern tier of communities. Started just south of the Illinois state line, and then we saw it really filling in across Rock and Walworth County, and then moved eastward from there with just some of that lingering rain up towards the north. Thankfully, all is calm. To recap, we've got all of the warnings canceled. Even the watch was allowed to expire. So from here, we'll really just need to monitor to see if there is a chance for any more development later on this afternoon and evening. Obviously, fireworks in a lot of communities tonight. We've got the drone show tonight. Just pay attention to where you live. Obviously, if rain redevelops and impacts fireworks, there's more than likely a rain date, but you'd want to seek that out wherever you live.
That was actually my next question for you, Stephanie. I know you've done a lot for us these last 2 hours on the Wisconsin Live Desk, but I can tell you there are a lot of people watching right now, and I imagine it was, for one, to get that storm system out of the way, make sure they stayed safely, but I also imagine, two, it's about tonight. I know so many people planning to go out to Summerfest. I know so many people planning to go out to that drone show, and I know a lot of people also have fireworks shows in their areas, as you were just mentioning. Can you kind of just give us the summary of what we need to know moving forward now that it seems like we've really gotten this first threat out of the way and we're in the clear?
Sure. So, when I look at some of our models, when I looked at them first thing this morning, in situations like this, it's kind of like an either or. And so we were looking at this batch of storms that developed out in Iowa, and some of our higher resolution models actually had this batch fizzling and then developing more storms later this afternoon and evening because we wouldn't have this midday batch. So it is entirely possible that because we had this midday batch, we see less activity going forward this afternoon and evening. But there is still that chance with more sunshine on the way and likely some type of boundary in our area lingering from these storms that we still see a few isolated showers and storms throughout the remainder of the day today. It is just very hard to pinpoint exactly where and when those develop. The good news is that it will not be a widespread thing. When we see situations like this, it's usually concentrated in a part of southeast Wisconsin, or they're more isolated or more scattered pop-ups. So I do think there is the potential for less activity going forward today. I haven't had a chance to check in on any of our midday modeling, but my guess is that because most of them weren't actually picking up on this round moving through, that they're just overall not getting a good handle on what could potentially happen. So that more so may be our evening round or our late afternoon round of modeling that may finally pick up on a better solution to what we could see later today. When it comes to the 4th of July, everything I've looked at so far kind of similar, where we have maybe an early morning round of storms, parade time, generally speaking, dry, but then still the chance for scattered storms to develop late in the afternoon and evening. I will say, looking at modeling for Saturday has looked better today compared to the last couple of days, kind of showing more activity in northern Illinois. So that's certainly a possibility, but I do still think at some point outdoor events will be impacted by at least some type of rain. So that just, in my mind, be prepared for tomorrow just to still bring the rain gear. We may luck out and only need it for 10 minutes of the entire day. Some may not need it at all, but it is best to keep it near and then just pay attention. A lot of municipalities, they want to get these fireworks off, right? So they will do everything in their power to do so. It might be a situation too where if we get a dry break 15 minutes before or 15 minutes after, that some of these firework times might just be adjusted a little bit. So I do again think it's a situation where you really need to stay tuned, whether that's to your villager email or city email or Facebook page is probably the easiest way of knowing, just in case we see little adjustments here or there. But the good news is like today, tomorrow, if we see more storms in the afternoon, we likely will not have many during the evening. So there is still hope for a good 4th of July, but I, again, still have rain in the forecast, just not a complete washout. So still be prepared to have some of that rain gear with us.
All right, well, definitely something that we will stay on top of. Steph, we'll let you go. I know you're busy. You're working on lots of things behind the scenes. But since Steph just mentioned the chance of something popping up, I thought it'd be a good reminder to download our FOX6 Storm Center app. This is a great tool to have, especially during that severe weather type of chance. So for me, personally, I love the live radar. That's how I can track different storms, see what it's looking like in my area. And of course, you can also get your severe weather alert. So when a thunderstorm, a severe thunderstorm watch or warning, or a tornado watch or warning is issued for your area, it will notify you right away on your lock screen, your home screen, let you know the very latest. Our weather experts also make different forecasts and weather videos there. So a great tool to have in a time like this. Want to give you another quick look at power outages. We are seeing these numbers climb a little bit there. Kenosha County now in that top spot. Before it was Racine County. Kenosha County last time was more around 11,000. Now we see 14,384 We Energies customers without power. Again, Racine County also hit hard at just above 13,000 right now. And as Steph even mentioned, we had some severe storms last night. So for some of these different counties and areas, these might be people who have been in the dark since yesterday. So again, almost 36,000 We Energies customers right now in the dark without power at 1:46 on July 3rd. We're going to keep our eye on these numbers, see if they can restore power, especially in those hardest hit counties this afternoon of Kenosha and Racine. Milwaukee County also, I mean, that's high there, 5,500. Walworth County at 1,800. So again, we will keep our eye on this and let you know as hopefully we see some improvement. So far we have seen Kenosha County climb up a little bit there now with more customers in the dark there than there is in Racine County. All right, we're going to take a quick break here on the Wisconsin Live Desk, and we'll be back with more weather, more news right after this.
Live Desk.
Welcome back to the Wisconsin Live Desk. Haley Spittler here with you at 1:51 on your Friday afternoon. I know it is July 3rd. A lot of people planning on traveling this weekend. We're expecting record-breaking numbers on the road, and we have been dealing with some severe weather this afternoon. Want to give you another live look outside. This is from our weather truck, again, on its way to the Elkhorn area. For now, that severe weather threat has expired. We've seen all watches, all warnings end, but we know a lot of you guys still wondering when's the best time to hit the road if I have a road trip in mind for this holiday weekend, as well as what's to come this afternoon and evening. This is the time of year where there are so many outdoor plans, and we're talking about the final weekend of the big gig. I imagine some of you guys heading to the amphitheater tonight, some of you heading to the BMO Pavilion, or any of the stages at Summerfest, wondering, is it going to be okay? Do I need to bring my weather gear? Is there going to be a shower pop-up? Maybe you're at McKinley Beach thinking you're going to take in that drone show or a fireworks show somewhere in Wisconsin this evening. So we understand so many of you guys locked in, wanting to know the forecast. We were just chatting with Stephanie Barrichello, our meteorologist who's been with us throughout this kind of storm here on the live desk. And she was saying, you know, we are not in the clear yet. Certainly with a severe risk right now, yes. But she said as we continue really this afternoon and evening, you're just going to want to have that rain gear with you. As well as I would recommend, again, the weather app to let you know, okay, it's time to seek shelter for a little bit. The rain is coming down versus I think we're in the clear for the rest of this evening. So certainly something we're going to continue to track for you right here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. Working right now to also get you some damage reports, some pictures and videos. We do have one on our website right now, fox6now.com, which you could also find inside the Fox Local app. This is from the town of Sharon. Delaney's going to kind of press play. You can see, yeah, wow, actually a lot of debris just covering the roadway here. Looks like a downed tree as well. Not sure if we can loop this. There might be an ad that pops up as a warning. This is from our website. But again, you can certainly see that a storm system did come through. We'll show that to you again in just 15 seconds once that ad ends. But you can see definitely some strong winds already came through our area. Again, as we took some of the live cameras, we saw them shaking back and forth. When we took that Lake Geneva camera, we again saw the waves. But look at the amount of debris, and it looks like almost a shed or something was maybe knocked over as well in this. So again, we're working to get even more damage pictures and videos that we can show you right here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. If it is safe for you to do so right now, if there's damage where you live, we would very much appreciate you snapping a photo, taking that video and sending it to us. You can submit it on fox6now.com inside the Fox Local app. You can also submit actually in our weather app if you have that downloaded as well. You guys are really our eyes and our ears throughout some of these storm systems. You do a great job of letting us know what it looks like where you live. So again, we're going to continue to work on getting you some of those damage reports as we get our crews situated and up in different areas. I know Bill Miston, our reporter, also out right now kind of looking through and sifting through some of the damage. We'll see if he can join us at some point here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. And again, our weather truck also heading right now to, I believe, Elkhorn is still the plan for this weather truck, which is another area really hit hard this afternoon. We'll see if they have some damage to show that they've been able to find once they get there. But as you can tell, still on the road for right now. I actually want to show you guys some of the photos we got closer to noon at this point, I believe. And Delaney, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe this was Walworth County. This was, again, right as that system was really starting, and you could just see that dark clouds take over the sky here. Want to actually tell you exactly who took this photo, because I remember Delaney put it in our chat for me as I scroll through a lot of messages here. This was the Village of Walworth Public Works. We do want to thank them for snapping this photo and posting it online so we could show you just what the sky really looked like here in Walworth. We saw another car submit a photo that they had kind of pulled over to snap, where you could see, again, just some of the clouds looking eerie out there. So again, the good news is we've made it through the initial threat here. Still certainly tracking weather this evening, as I cannot emphasize it enough. I know so many of you guys will be out and about, whether it be Summerfest, whether it be a drone show, whether it be a fireworks show, or just hanging with your friends and family on July 4th, holiday weekend. We know there's a lot of gatherings. A lot of times they surround around a grill grill where you're outside as well. So we're going to continue to track that. And speaking of continuing to track that, Stephanie Barrichello, she's back. She had a quick sip of water because she's been going nonstop for us here the last 2 hours. What you got for us, Steph?
I actually just had a chance to go through some of the latest models, some of our higher resolution models that update every hour. There's still not a ton of consistency. And really no change from what I said earlier. One high resolution model does have a few more storms popping up around our dinner hour. That feels a little soon for more development considering we're to about 2 o'clock right now. But I think it just goes to show that once again, we still have the chance later today for at least a few more storms. A couple of other models actually keep us quiet until our overnight hours, and that would be just fantastic. But I always preface this by saying every model kind of does things a little bit differently, and with our current setup, it's really an anything goes type of situation, especially if we have any of these leftover boundaries. So still, do not let your guard down. Rain is still a possibility. Even at this hour, we've got just a little bit more to get through. Actually had a few sprinkles here at the station. I stepped out and looked at those, very, very light. Summerfest did likely have a shower move through, and maybe even still some lingering right along the lakeshore, including at the Summerfest grounds. Southern Ozaukee County, southeastern Washington County, a few showers, and Kenosha still a few showers. Now, Kenosha County, I will caution you, there's still been some embedded thunder. I know it doesn't really look like much down there, but some embedded thunder and lightning. So if you still want to wait a little bit longer before going outside until some of these showers are through, I know, again, it's really not much, but we have seen some lightning still show up in that area. And even when it's not severe, if it's got lightning, you always want to be indoors. When thunder roars, go indoors is what we say. But that's the latest on the current situation. As we look out towards the west, there's not a whole lot going on. I see a little bit of green showing up, maybe southwest of Madison. That could be just a radar return. So we'll watch as, once again, we're not quite done, especially since the sun is out near Madison and western Wisconsin. If we tap into some of that sunshine, which we more than likely will, that will destabilize the atmosphere again and still allow for more of that thunderstorm activity. But I do think we will have a window of dry time really from here for at least the next 3-4 hours. We'll watch those late afternoon, early evening hours closely. Here's the latest look at the storm reports. I have not received anything new, but again, the majority of them are across Walworth County, especially central and southern Walworth County. A couple of wind reports from Racine and Kenosha County, and then a couple more out towards the west. That Rockton, that cell near Rockton, Illinois, that's where that couplet, that rotation actually developed, or strengthened, I should say. And then that's what, again, moved through southeastern Beloit and then into parts of Rock County, including near the Sharon area. Take a look at what some of the rain has done to our temperatures too. This has happened a couple of times with some of the rain we've had as of late. That rain-cooled air, I think after all of the heat we've seen, is very welcome. Temperatures are down in the low 70s in some of these southern communities. Up towards the north, it's still warm, but nothing compared to the last couple of days. It's actually down to 76 in Milwaukee after being in the 80s the last couple of hours with high humidity. So it probably feels a little more refreshing as you step outside, thanks to some of these showers and storms that moved through. The caveat to that, though, again, is some of the northern lakeshore communities still pretty warm and humid, but in the 80s, not the 90s. Dew points are still high in a handful of communities. It's still sitting around 70 in Milwaukee, West Bend, Watertown. We may, as the sun returns later today, see dew points as well as air temperatures, likely air temperatures, climb a bit more. I'm not certain we'll actually make it to 90 today thanks to some of the rain, which we knew would be a possibility, but still plan on pretty warm and sticky conditions for any of your outdoor events throughout the remainder of today. And if you're going to Summerfest later on this evening, kind of the same deal. So temperature trend from here, again, we're just a bit too warm because of the rain, but even overnight tonight, I think we're going to start to feel those temperatures dropping a little bit more. Tomorrow, we'll start to see temperatures cooling lakeside, so we could see a mixture early on of low to mid 80s, so still pretty warm, but then afternoon lake breeze cooling us down a little bit. And we just talked about the temperature trend past that will actually drop quite a bit more, and especially in lakeshore communities. So the reason I'm showing you this is because we've been talking late in the week, early in the weekend, this high pressure system would begin to break down and this heat dome would begin to break down. And we're starting to see that now, certainly with some of those thunderstorm chances returning, but also when it comes to a final break from the heat and humidity. Here's one model run that I wanted to show you guys because it did actually pick up. It's timing a little off, but does pick up on some of the thunderstorms that just moved through. So we'll in real time kind of adjust the timing to go along with this. Notice how this model run doesn't pop much more. A little bit late this evening in some of our southern communities, so we will still need to watch for a few more isolated to scattered thunderstorms, but not really depicting too much more throughout the overnight. It does, however, bring in that early morning batch of showers and thunderstorms tomorrow. Hopeful that if we do see that, it's out of here by parade time. A lot of our longer range models have shown that too. An early morning batch Saturday, but kind of gone by those mid-morning hours, so maybe a little sweet spot there for parade time. I know a lot of parades, you know, rain or shine, they still go on. So that's another thing, along with firework forecasting and making sure that that is still on or delayed. Make sure you're checking with your cities too to see if there's any adjustments to parades. And again, this is just one model run. I personally like what it's showing though. And then still the chance for some afternoon tomorrow, maybe midday afternoon scattered thunderstorms, but really favoring northern Illinois and some of our southern communities. Maybe dry for firework time Saturday, but then we may see a little bit more development overnight into Sunday morning as the system finally pulls out. We have been talking about a high pressure system for days, but also there has been a storm system west of us for days. The high pressure has been keeping it out towards the west. So we are going to see the series of frontal boundaries, including a cold front, finally work its way through. And that's why temperatures will gradually drop a little bit more. And that will certainly provide a chance for a few more storms. So this was just one model output, but I do agree with what it's showing with which, you know, still have some storm chances, but nothing widespread the rest of today and even throughout the day tomorrow. I think at this point we'll watch the overnight batch and then of course those fireworks times so closely. But in the meantime, we're still cloudy here. I do think we'll still see some sunshine, and we'll need to watch maybe your dinner hour for a few more showers and storms to pop. And of course the big story will be looking at that storm damage down in Walworth County and especially around the Lake Geneva area.
Yeah, speaking of the Lake Geneva area, and Steph, thanks so much for hopping back on. I'm sure we will check in with you again shortly as we continue to monitor this system. Lake Geneva is actually where our very own Bill Misson is currently on his way to. Bill, we took a couple of live cameras during the heaviest parts of this storm, and Lake Geneva was just hit with so much rain. We saw some strong gusts of wind. How far out are you from Lake Geneva? Where are you guys headed first as you kind of go and see some of that damage?
Yeah, well, there's a number of places that we've received reports of damage in the Lake Geneva area, Como as well. And so we are just a few minutes outside of Lake Geneva right now as we are going to start trying to survey some of these areas, as it's our understanding right now that there's even possibly a staging area set up for emergency crews to work from as they go out into the areas around Lake Geneva where some of these storms had their most severe impact on the community. So we're a short while away, so just wanted to hop on quickly to let you know where we were and what we're going to be doing. Probably going to have to hop off here in a moment, but we should be able to be back up with you once we kind of get the lay of the land.
All right, again, that's Bill Misson right now. He's in the car along with his photojournalist making their way to Lake Geneva. And Bill will check in with us once he gets there as he finds some of that damage and kind of show us what he's seen. I want to take another live look actually in Lake Geneva as we see a live look at the water here. This is courtesy of Lake Geneva Cruise Line. And really, it's, again, what a difference 2 hour makes. The first time we looked at this, it had to keep rebuffering. We lost the camera for a little bit because the water was was moving so much. The rain was absolutely pelting the area here, and the wind was so strong. You can still see the wind certainly still present. Look at all these flags as they wave in the wind, but it does seem like things at the moment have calmed down. We see a lot of people back out right now, kind of going in and out of their boats. So again, Lake Geneva, we saw just how crazy it got about 2 hours ago. That is where Bill Miston is on his way to. And as he and his photojournalist kind of find some of the damage, they will join us live right here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. Because again, we'll be with you all the way until 4 p.m. That is when our afternoon newscast will start, and they will continue to cover this big story of the day, which is the weather. Just tuning in with us right now, thankfully all of the watches and warnings have expired. We are still anticipating some more rain and potential for storms this evening, so we want everyone to please be weather aware, especially if you're heading out to Summerfest, if you're heading out to a fireworks show, if you're heading out to the drone show. And I do want to pull up the details of that drone show again, because I know Steph said it's a good idea if you're going to any of these events to check their website, check their Facebook pages to see if anything does get canceled or rescheduled. If the drone show cannot go on tonight, which I want to say at this point, we have not heard that. There is no indication that it's being postponed. As of right now, it is all systems go for that Lakefront drone show in its second year. However, if that changes, they have already announced that the makeup date is going to be this Sunday. That would be July 5th. Otherwise, as I said, this is still set to go for today. The drone show would start at 9:15. Brett Lemoyne actually joined us here on the live desk shortly after noon. 900 drones make up this show. It's about 45 minutes long. It takes a lot of prep work. It's going to be fun and creative what they're able to make in the sky. But again, if something is in the area and they do have to cancel it tonight, it will go on again. It will just be Sunday, July 5th. So we want you to be already thinking about that for any of your July 4th celebrations, whether it be this drone show tonight, whether it be a fireworks show tomorrow, whether it be a parade. And I know there are parades almost in every single city here in our area. Just double check before you head out the door that it is still on, that it hasn't been postponed, delayed, canceled. So again, that's kind of the name of the game this weekend as we deal with some of these storm systems making their way through southeastern Wisconsin. For now, we'll take a quick break here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. We'll be back with more news right after this. everybody, welcome back to the Wisconsin Live Desk. Haley Spittler here with you at 2:11 on your Friday afternoon. We are starting to get some photos, some videos of the damage from this afternoon's severe weather. Obviously, we had tornado warnings, we had a severe thunderstorm warning, and a severe thunderstorm watch, depending on where you live. And again, now that it's safe to do so, all those warnings have expired. We're starting to get a better idea of what exactly was left behind from these storm systems that brought with us heavy rain, certainly strong winds. We've been showing you our weather truck as it's been driving. I want to give you a live look right now from that weather truck that has pulled over. This is in Delavan, and that is because they have found a downed tree, obviously blocking a part of the road here. And so impressive, in my opinion, is the fact that there's already a crew working right now to get this cleared. Again, this is on Willow Point Drive in Delavan. Our weather truck pulled over right now as we get to kind of live look at the process of clearing this road. But again, the power of a strong wind is always so surprising to see just the damage that it can do. And again, it's a pretty significant size tree here, at least part of a tree here down on this road, completely blocking one direction. It can kind of get a little bit scary at moments as we watch cars come and they try and pass through it, because then a car will come from the opposite direction. So right now, thankfully, it looks like the other side of this all clear. But I know it's also hard to kind of judge it when you can see some of the foliage there, those leaves, those tree branches kind of block the view. So as you can see, a crew out right now working to get this clear, starting with making the vantage better, the view better for any drivers who are looking to kind of pass by this tree. Again, we were also seeing a pretty significant amount of power outages as well. In a couple of minutes, I'll give you another live look at the We Energies power outage map. But certainly, I'm impressed with the response time here with these crew members already out working to, cut up this tree to be able to clear it as soon as possible to get this lane back open. Again, just watching us. 2660 Willow Point Drive is where our photojournalist Rissa is. She is inside that weather truck. Again, we've been watching her drive around. She found a down tree, so she pulled over. She's getting some great footage of this for us. We are told the service in this area is not good. She was trying to dial in to kind of tell us what she's been encountering, what she's been seeing, what it's been like to drive through some of this storm system. But again, we know power out in a lot of these areas right now, and she's telling us that she is not even able to dial in because the service just isn't good enough. But again, that's what we're looking at here, is this down tree. Thankfully, that storm system cleared for now, and it's providing the opportunity for crews to get out here to start the process of clearing the way so that drivers can get to and from where they need to go. I will say drivers here are doing a really good job slowing down, making sure the road is clear before they try and go around this to get where they're going, especially when there are, workers out and about. You do not want to be speeding through some of these areas, especially because you don't know what you're going to encounter. We're looking at one down tree here. There could be another one in a little bit. So again, definitely want to take it nice and slow. Looks like our weather truck might be on its way here shortly, as they've done a great job already clearing this tree pretty quickly. You can see some more debris on the other side of the road as well. So again, now that the system's made its way through, we're getting a better idea of the damage that it has left behind. Looks like some more trucks arriving to help with the clearing process here. So again, if it's safe to do it where you are at, as we now will go around with Rissa, she's driving as she now passes. Okay, so you can see a couple of trees down on the other side of the road as well as she makes her way through here. But again, that tree still blocking a full lane, one whole direction of traffic. So we'll see what Rissa finds on her way. We appreciate her pulling over there to show us some of the damage that she discovered. Again, that was at Willow Point Drive. Want to point out, you see these areas that, there's a lot of debris even here between some sticks that I'm sure the wind kind of carried through. There's a lot of hills, and that's, again, if you're out and about, you're driving today and you encounter a rural kind of area here where there's a lot of those little hills that create blind spots, please take it slowly, because you might encounter what we just saw, which is a downed tree. We just want everyone to be safe as they continue to make their travel plans for this holiday weekend. So we'll check in with a little bit here. Looks like Rissa's actually sending me some information. Yep, again, that crew there working to move the tree. She said the neighbor in the area told her just down the street there's a tree into a house. Okay, so Rissa's on her way to try and see if she can find that. If she does discover that damage, I know that she will keep this powered up. We'll bring it right back to you here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. In the meantime, as she goes to try and find some of that damage, I want to see if we have some other storm damage reports here. Okay, so these are some that Delaney is being able to get from our system, which if you are sending us your photos, your videos, thank you so much. Again, it does such a service to our other viewers when we can see the damage that is left behind. We would never want you to do this during a storm. Please only do it when it is safe to do it, once everything is kind of passed by, which it has now. And this is kind of a scary sight here. Look at this downed tree that's actually going into a power line after the storm. Delaney, do you happen to know what city this is in? Delaney's working to get clarification of where exactly this is. But again, we are seeing the power outage map get really high. It was 35,000 customers around southeastern Wisconsin in the dark at our last check. And this is kind of maybe explaining why, if there's a lot of downed trees knocking out power lines. I want to send the reminder as well. If you come across a downed power line, please, please, please do not go near it. You never know when it is active, when it is on. Instead, the best thing to do is to report it. You can let We Energies know. You can let 911 know. Don't assume that they are already aware of it, because the sooner you get it reported, the faster they can work on restoring your power. Also want to show you a look at Kenosha here. My goodness, that is a scary sight right here. This is to John's photo. John, thank you so much for sending this. Very fast-moving storm in Kenosha. Again, we showed you some live looks at the road in Kenosha. At one point, the visibility so bad we couldn't even see the highway. And again, right here, you can see just a scary sight here in Kenosha as that storm came through. You see that person outside. I hope they were able to get in as quickly as possible, because when these storm systems come through, I know it can happen so quickly. But again, we want to make sure that if thunder roars, you head indoors. Want everyone to get home or wherever they're traveling on July 4th holiday weekend as safe as possible. I want to give you another live look outside. This is in the town of Lyons, where we can see again a lot of trees are down. Looks like people even already out and about right now working on that clearing process. So again, we are just starting to get all of our teams up and out, where they are trying to give you the best idea of what this damage looks like. But I can see a lot of trees on the ground here. We saw a woman on the other side of the street out right now trying to clear it from her property. Again, the good news here, that severe threat, it is over. All of our warnings and our watches, they have expired, and now it is kind of that time while it's dry. And I know Steph said it was going to be dry for the next 3 or 4 hours or so to get out and try and pick things up. I know we've seen some debris, whether that be from down power lines, down trees. We saw debris in that video from Sharon. So again, we'll continue to kind of get some live pictures, some live videos here of what it's looking like in southeastern Wisconsin after we saw some different storms come in. Looks like Bill Miston here in the town of Lyons going to work to actually get him in a different router, and we'll hear from him as soon as he is ready. In the meantime, I'm going to take another live look here at City Center. Again, this is kind of showing you what it looks like in downtown Milwaukee right now, where we have just seen the sky be so dark and so ominous. And I know so many people not too far away from here, whether that be McKinley Beach or whether that be Summerfest, have plans this evening. So again, there is still a chance of more storms this evening, more rain this evening, as well as tomorrow as we get to the 4th of July. So just want everyone to continue to be weather aware for us. Again, we're going to get you a live report on some more damage here shortly. In the meantime, I'll show you what our weather truck is continuing to find. Again, Rissa was showing us a downed tree, and now she's on her way after she heard a report of a tree potentially into a house. So she's trying to locate that for us as she continues to drive around after this storm. I've been told Bill Miston ready for us here. Bill, it looks like you've gotten out of the car. You've already found some damage. Tell us what you're seeing right now.
Yeah, hey there, guys. I'm in the town of Lyons, which is northeast of Lake Geneva, and you can already hear the sound of chainsaws as a number of limbs are down. Even coming into town, you could see that the corn has been windswept from the southwest to the northeast, and it appears that the lots of trees have lost. There's just lots of tree debris out and about on the streets. So as you can see right now over there on the left side of your screen, it's where some work is being done to chop up some of those limbs that have fallen from a tree there at a house. We just got into the town of Lyons a short time ago on our way into Lake Geneva, so we just wanted to stop and take a look and see what the damage was here before we continued on our journey to Lake Geneva area.
Yeah, Bill, we can certainly see, I mean, that debris just all over the roadway. There are several down trees around here. Have you encountered any down power lines at all?
No, nothing that we've seen. Again, we're kind of just getting into the area and checking out where there were reports of damage into our office and continuing on from there. So, but yeah, just lots of smaller branch debris, and then there are some limbs that have fallen from larger trees. It doesn't appear that any homes were severely damaged by those, but they did come pretty close, it appears.
Yeah, I will say impressed with Wisconsinites already out and about with their chainsaws working on the cleanup process now that they have a little patch of dry weather. Again, that's Bill Miston reporting for us in the town of Lyons. Just got there, hasn't been able to chat with anyone just yet, but Bill, we do appreciate you hopping on the live desk as we can see those people out and about working hard right now to clear some of these down trees from their property. Again, Bill just getting there, hasn't been able to chat with anyone soon, but from his eye, it does seem as if most of these homes were spared, just a lot of down trees in yards and some debris there on the roadway. So again, if you have any damage near your home or wherever you are right now and it's safe to do so, please go out, snap a photo, snap a video, send them to us. You can send us those on fox6now.com inside the Fox Local app. You can also do it in the Fox 6 Storm Center app. We will continue to show those different photos and videos right here on the Wisconsin Live Desk as we now get a better idea of really the damage left behind from this afternoon's early storms. Again, it was intense there for a minute. I will keep talking about that Lake Geneva live camera and that Kenosha DOT camera where there was barely any visibility. We could just see such a strong amount of rain coming down. We could tell the wind was whipping around at those areas. So again, Bill on his way there to Lake Geneva. We have our weather truck out also right now trying to find some damage a neighbor told her about. We will continue to keep you updated right here on the Wisconsin Live Desk when it comes to weather. For now, we'll take a quick break and we'll be back with more news right after this.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Wisconsin Live Desk. Haley Spittler here with you at 2:27 on your Friday afternoon. Again, we have crews out and about right now as we continue to see some of the damage left behind from this afternoon storms. This is in the town of Lyons, where we've seen a lot of downed trees. Impressively, we've already seen people out and about right now that it's dry, working to get the cleanup process underway. Bill Miston currently out talking to neighbors, so we will keep our eye here on this feed. There he is, right there, talking to people right now, hearing about the damage. I wonder actually if we could hear it really quickly.
All of a sudden, just out of nowhere, this happened.
I mean, were you guys in the home at the time? Or?
I was not. I was actually outside in the garage talking to my buddy on the phone, and my son was waving to me from the sliding door inside the house saying, come in, come in. And I was just like, what's going on? And all of a sudden I look outside and I see a tree limb fall over here. And I went to my truck because all my windows were open in my truck. So all of a sudden this just happened out of nowhere and took us all by surprise, I guess.
Was the wind pretty wild then?
Oh yeah, yes. When I exited my truck, I was a little worried, to be honest. But it was scary. But everybody's coming together. We're neighbors are helping out, and even my son that was always on those devices is helping out today.
Well, hey,
Isn't that good?
Take small victories, right?
Small victories is what I'll take.
What's your name?
Ryan Melcher.
Melcherbrian.
Again, Bill out there right now talking to Ryan, who said it was kind of a scary moment when he was getting out of his truck as the storm came through. But you can see, as he said, whole family helping right now in this cleanup process. It is beautiful to see people come together as you start that cleanup process. More hands makes it go by a whole lot faster. Okay, want to go back to our Stephanie Barrichello, our weather expert, who's been keeping us in the know throughout the Wisconsin Live Desk. What is the latest, Steph?
It's still getting damage reports, that's for sure. I've got a couple of new ones, more so from the Beloit area and then parts of Rock County, but just more of the same. Trees and power lines down. That one's from Beloit, and then we have one from Clinton of the same exact thing. Trees and power lines down. So that is by far the biggest report that we've got across parts of Rock as well as Walworth County. I'm sure there's damage still across Racine and even potentially Kenosha County, as that was the track of this storm. Now, Lyons, interestingly enough, was one of the spots where the rotation really picked up. I think the bulk of the damage reports that we've seen across southeast Wisconsin are more than likely straight line wind damage reports, potentially up to 80 miles per hour, though. That's some of the wind signatures that we were looking at on velocity scans. We're showing the potential for 70 to 80 mile per hour winds, but it is interesting because there were still a few spots. We had those multiple tornado warnings, so we did have a few spots where the rotation was a little bit tighter. So some of that certainly could be tornado damage. Hard to say at this point. The National Weather Service will need to go out and survey, and I'm sure we'll get details on that later today. A little tricky with the fact that it's a holiday weekend, but we'll wait and we'll see from the National Weather Service. But I am happy to report that all is calm across southeast Wisconsin. Clouds beginning to clear out towards the west. Most of us are still overcast with maybe a few sprinkles still holding tight across northern Ozaukee County, but all of the strong and severe thunderstorms well out over Lake Michigan. In fact, the National Weather Service, I should say the Storm Prediction Center, extended the severe thunderstorm watch east of us into parts of Michigan as well as Indiana for this line of storms. In fact, look at this. It's so fascinating to watch storms really amplify as they cross Lake Michigan. Even though these storms aren't even onto land yet, there are warnings for lakeshore communities just across the lake in Michigan State. Also south of Chicago, a few severe thunderstorm warnings as well. Once again, though, we are in the clear here locally with sunshine out towards the west. In fact, it looks like maybe some more clouds developing in northeastern Iowa. This would need to be a spot that we watch for more development. earlier, these storms did develop out in Iowa. We're talking earlier this morning, and then we watched them move eastward, eventually into our area just before noon, starting in Rock County and then eventually moving into Walworth County. So all is calm again right now, but with some of this incoming sunshine, it is very possible that we see our atmosphere destabilize again and more storms develop. So I think at this point in time, because we're starting to see more clouds develop in Iowa, that would be the spot that we would need to watch for additional development. We're not done with our storm chances. We do still have a chance later on this evening, potentially later on tonight, and then even into the day tomorrow. With tomorrow being the 4th of July, just know again that there are still some storm chances off and on throughout the day, especially during those afternoon hours. Here's a look, more so just a visual look at how many storm reports we've received so far. A couple more coming in from Rock County that I just spoke about. The majority of them tree damage or power lines down. We did have one report earlier from Walworth, I believe, of a flagpole down as well. And then a couple of wind reports from Racine and Kenosha County. Those one I believe was 58 miles per hour in Pleasant Prairie. We had another one to about 65 miles per hour in parts of Racine County. Temperatures have cooled down, certainly thanks to some of the storms that have moved through, but more so showing you this because with the sunshine out west, they will likely climb a little bit more. I do not think we will reach 90 today because of the rain that just moved through, but just know we still could have a period of time throughout the afternoon where we heat up a little bit more, still very sticky. I mean, even dew points are still in the 60s and low 70s, and even those could climb a little bit. So we do need to watch for more thunderstorm development later on today, as well as still a little bit more in the way of the heat and the humidity. But going forward, we are going to break that extreme heat. Obviously, we had no heat headline for today, and we will not have any for the next couple of days as temperatures tomorrow stay in the 80s, and even a lake breeze late in the day may cool temperatures back to 70s. But it's just a sign that the high pressure has certainly moved out of our area. We've got a storm system that will approach for tomorrow, and that's the reason why we still have multiple rain and thunderstorm chances and a drop in temperatures. I'm going to check to see what this latest damage report is, to see if it is from this one actually from Burlington in Racine, and it's the same. Trees and power lines down. All of these essentially look the exact same. They just have slightly different places. Burlington, again, was one of the spots where that little couplet or that little area of rotation went through likely that area. So hard to say whether these are straight line winds or tornadic, but there is a lot of damage and a lot of cleanup that needs to be done throughout the remainder of the day today. I know the last thing that people probably want to do on their 4th of July weekend, at least, tomorrow is the 4th. So if the plans were tomorrow, hopefully it didn't ruin anything today. But with what we just saw, Haley, we do still need to be prepared for more of that. A lot of boats out on lakes, a lot of people camping. These storms can develop very quickly. So just don't let your guard down until Sunday. Yeah. Sunday we can breathe a sigh of relief, but until then we do still need to be prepared to quickly run inside for shelter.
Yeah, well, as you talk about a lot of people being on the water, I want to get your reaction to this stuff. This is a live look right now in Delavan where we see actually a pontoon flipped over during this storm. A lot of the deck there also destroyed here in the strong winds, but you can see people already out right now trying to get this back turned over because of the strong winds that came in so fast this afternoon.
Yeah, I mean, I believe it. I'm assuming nobody was on this boat. I think it would probably be a much more urgent situation if they were. But when you think about 70 to 80 mile per hour winds, I mean, that is the strength of a EF0, low-end EF1 tornado. So damage like this is absolutely a possibility. That's why I was so nervous in Lake Geneva to see so many people still on their boats.
Yep.
I know they were driving very fast to get to safety, so I do understand. But never want to be out on the water if you can avoid it during situations like this. I hope they're able to, turn it the right way.
I know.
That's going to take some time.
To your point, we were talking earlier in the newsroom about, favorite July 4th traditions, and for so many people, it is just that, being on the water. So again, as we deal with these systems, definitely a time to be weather aware. because we don't want anyone to be out in the water, get stuck in a situation like this. We just heard from that neighbor also in the town of Lyons who said it came through so quickly, and I was actually very nervous if I was even going to be able to get inside while it was going down. So again, Stephanie Barrichello there joining us as she continues to help us track some damage. We'll check in with her again shortly, but you can see at least 2 individuals working hard right now to get this pontoon flipped back onto its correct side. I always am the reporter who wants to find a silver lining, right? And it's hard when it's storm damage, but I do always say that it brings out the best in humanity. We just saw that whole family working together to get the trees cleaned up from their property. The dad even mentioned, you know, my youngest son is helping us, who's usually kind of glued to his phone, glued to his tablet. And here again, you can see 2 guys helping out right now, trying to get this pontoon back on its correct side. We do have some video that shows a couple of other different angles. So what you're looking at right now, this is a live look, and it looks like they might be trying to pull it as we speak. So I might actually not go to any of our video we have just yet, as these 2 individuals again working to get this out on the water, out of the water, back onto its correct side. Again, this is in Delavan. Our photojournalist Rissa is here. She's trying to talk to some people as well, get some more information as to what exactly happened. But you can see, I mean, there is certainly some damage here to the boat. You can see some damage. Is the pier the right definition? The deck right there, where you can see it's kind of destroyed. You hope the other boats nearby are also okay, and hope that jet ski in front of us okay, as we watch these 2 individuals work through it. Okay, I'm going to show you a couple different angles as they continue to work on this. That's actually me. There's the different angles. That's what I was trying to show you here. So again, you can see a crane, another boat with the crane there is on scene. That's what they're trying to use to lift this and to raise it. So again, I got to give a shout out to all of these people so quickly working on the cleanup process. We watched these storms roll in our area together, roll through our area together at noon. They kind of wrapped up about an hour ago now at 1:30, and there are already people and equipment and machinery working so hard to get it all cleaned up while it is dry in the time being. So again, these are some clips that Rissa sent in. Now I'm going to, that shows you another angle there of the pier and just how many people are working so hard right now to get this pontoon flipped. And again, you can see the boat that's already made its way over with that crane. Going to show you another live look now at that scene. Again, Rissa still has her camera set up. You can still see those guys in the water kind of finagling, arranging what they need here as they try and use that crane, which we can't see from this clip, so I appreciate those other videos that showed us that that's what that boat is to the right, working to get it out of the water. We, again, are hearing this from Rissa, our photojournalist, who is there right now. She's going to work to talk to some of these individuals afterwards, but can't imagine the headache that it must be when you look out your window in a storm like this and you see that your boat has flipped over, that your dock, maybe that's the right word, your pier there, has been damaged due to the strong winds. And again, as we were looking at that camera, that live look at Lake Geneva, to Stephanie Barrichello's point, it was scary to see how strong the wind was, how heavy the rain was coming down, knowing that it is such a prominent weekend to be out on the water and how fast moving the storm system was. You want everyone to make it to land, make it to their safe shelters, and not get stuck out in this kind of weather, because again, this is exactly what can happen. Boats can flip. So again, taking this live look right now, thanks to Rissa, who's out and about. She's been in our weather truck. We were watching her drive before, and now she is doing a great job finding some damage for us so we can paint a better picture of what exactly this storm left behind. I gotta give him props. I don't know what they're technically doing here to try and flip it. This is one of those situations where I have zero knowledge, zero skill sets that would be helpful in this scenario, but they seem to know what they are doing as they work to safely get this flipped back over. You have to wonder how badly damaged the pontoon is going to be. But again, as far as we know, and Rissa's going to work here shortly as well to talk to them, no one was on the boat at that time. But again, if you have any July 3rd, July 4th plans to be out in the water, obviously as we watch these 2 men try and flip this pontoon, we can see different boats in the background. We've seen jet skis go through, people already back out on the water enjoying their holiday. please just make sure you're being weather aware. Have a radar app with you, like the FOX6 Storm Center app. Have a way to get notifications. Just be tracking things that might pop up, might occur, might happen, because we don't want anyone to get stuck outside in a situation like this. Again, these two gentlemen working so hard. Let me show you actually again, this is a live look. We're kind of going to flip between two different things. This is video that Rissa captured for us just a few minutes ago, and I like this angle just because it shows you that boat that they are working with that has a crane attached to it, obviously trying to lift this pontoon, and then eventually we'll start that flipping process of the boat. But again, the dock here certainly seeing a lot of damage as well from just strong winds and a lot of rain this afternoon. Not in the clear yet. We are in the clear when it comes to current severe threats. No active watches, no active warnings. We have seen all of those expire and end, but we are not in the clear as far as rainfall tonight. We are still expecting a chance for some more rain, some more storms. So that's the name of the game today, unfortunately, and we hate to be the bearers of bad news. It's the name of the game for tomorrow as well, when it will be July 4th. So please, 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 we're going to keep emphasizing it. Just be weather aware. Have a weather app like the FOX6 Storm Center app that can notify you. And again, if you have any plans that are outdoors, really surrounding the holiday here, like a parade, like a drone show, like a fireworks show, before you head out the door to go and attend those tonight or tomorrow, I would check their Facebook page. I would check their website. I would just make sure that they're still on. Right now, the drone show, the second year of that on the lakefront at McKinley Beach, that is still happening. It's set to still go off. I believe it's 9:15. It could change. They've already declared that Sunday would be their kind of postponement day. So if it does get canceled or postponed tonight, it will go off on Sunday instead. Right now, indications are it's still a go for tonight. But again, just these kind of scenarios we want you to start thinking about when it comes to parades, fireworks, drone shows. Just make sure they're still happening before you go out the door. We've seen parades in other areas of the country have to get canceled. We were talking earlier this morning on Wake Up with one of our reporters who was in Philadelphia. Unfortunately, a parade that we'd covered because the Dancing Grannies were going to do it got canceled today because of heat. Obviously, we've been experiencing a lot of heat as well here in Wisconsin. So whether it's heat, whether it is a thunderstorm, a kind of situation tomorrow, we might see some parades canceled. Hopefully not. But again, just make sure that you are checking in, that everything is still good to go. It does seem like they're getting a little bit more movement here in the water as we see it kind of move around, some little waves developing here as they continue to try and get this pontoon lifted and then ultimately flipped. Again, this is at Lake Delavan right now, a live look. That is where this pontoon flipped over due to the storm that came through. And again, I mean, you can see the damage next to these guys with that dock. It looks like there's just pieces of it around them floating as well. Going to give you another look again from Tagboard because it just shows you the boat that they're using right now that has that crane attached to it as they work to lift and flip it. But again, I mean, props to these gentlemen. I would not know what to do in a scenario like this. I would just have the headache of the damage that it's caused. They are all working hands-on right now to get this pontoon back upright and in the water. So we'll keep our eye on this camera. Not sure how long Riss is going to stay here, but as long as this angle is up, we're going to show it to you right here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. We know a lot of you guys tuned in today because of these storms. We're going to keep you in the know, make sure you and your family can stay safe, whether you're hitting the road for your July 4th holiday weekend plans or you're staying right here in southeastern Wisconsin. We've got you covered. For now, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with more news right after this.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Wisconsin Live Desk. Haley Spittler here with you at 2:48 as we continue to kind of cover now the aftermath of that storm system that came through our area this afternoon. Really starting to get a better idea of the damage here. I want to show you another live look. This is in the town of Delavan at the lake there, where we're seeing a pier that leads to a boat lift that actually overturned with a pontoon boat on the lift. Again, we've been seeing these two gentlemen work pretty tirelessly the last 20 or so minutes trying to get this flipped over. Our photojournalist Rissa here on scene. She's going to try and talk to these two gentlemen as well to kind of just hear a little bit more about what happened this afternoon. Obviously, quite the headache to deal with, especially on July 3rd. Such a prominent weekend to be out on the water, so we'll keep checking in on their progress here to try and get this pontoon now lifted up and flipped back over onto its right side. But as we talk about our reporters and our journalists being out right now working on getting some information and finding those damage reports that Stephanie Barrichello has been reporting for us, I do want to go ahead and check back in with Bill. Bill, we saw you get out of the car a little bit ago in the town of Lyons. You're back in the car on your way somewhere new. Tell us kind of where you're headed and the damage you've already seen so far.
Yeah, we were making our way through the town of Lyons as we're heading towards Lake Geneva. We did stop briefly in the unincorporated town of Springfield, where there was a road closure at Highway 120 there in town because a tree was overhanging. It didn't appear that it snapped the power lines, but a tree was overhanging the power lines there, so they had closed the road there in unincorporated Springfield. Throughout, though, I mean, in that immediate area, we saw trees that were uprooted. Some limbs and trees were on some homes. And then as we continued on towards Lake Geneva, more and more trees seen, in the roadway. There was some fencing that had been pushed aside. So some pretty widespread damage in that area. We're making our way now into Lake Geneva at the moment and are going to where there's a staging area for some of the response here. So we're going to continue to keep making our way to the areas where we know that there were reports of damage, as well as finding anything that we do along the way.
Bill, we were able to catch just the end of one of your interviews. I know you were able to get out and chat with two different neighbors there when you found some of those downed trees. What did they have to say about when this storm system kind of rolled in and the damage that it left behind?
Yeah, one gentleman I spoke with, Dave Quaid, he lives in the Lyons Country Estates neighborhood there in the town of Lyons, and said that they got hit pretty hard. He said thankfully his home is okay, but got a warning on his phone, looks outside, and the storm was on him. And he said his pine tree was nearly horizontal with the ground in those high winds. Then he heard that there was some damage at his sister's house there in the town of Lyons, which is where we were. And so that's why he was there helping her start to pick up some of the debris and limbs and things that had fallen there. Went across the street and spoke with Brian Melcher as they were cutting up some of the limbs that had fallen from a tree near their home. Thankfully, their home escaped unscathed and no one was hurt. No one I've talked to said that anyone was hurt, so that's a good thing. But same thing, they said that storm came in with a fury of winds and rain, as was evidenced by some of the damage that they've had to deal with in the time since. So we're just getting into Lake Geneva at the moment right now, and then we'll be powering back up here in a little bit. So just give us a few minutes and we'll kind of go from there. But we know that this is appears to be a staging area for a box alarm response for different fire departments. We have Western Lakes Fire here, Twin Lakes, City of Waukesha, Janesville, it appears as well. So some pretty wide response here in Lake Geneva.
All right, Bill, just arriving there to Lake
Geneva. And I could stay with you for a second if you want, while I could stay with you for a second while photojournalist Eddie Poser kind of gets things fired up here.
All right, so yeah, Bill and his photojournalist just arriving now to Lake Geneva, as you heard him say, that staging area. Bill, as you even just kind of drove into town, did you encounter any damage? Have you seen anything yet?
Not as much in Lake Geneva, though. We're near US 12 right now, so the highway, there is damage here, just like limbs and trees down. It's at the Piggly Wiggly grocery store, so there's definitely debris, but not to the extent to what we saw kind of in the town of Lyons in that area. So right now, I think Eddie should be getting that shot up, and you might be able to take it while you're still here talking with me. There you go. Yeah, so as you can see, a number of different fire departments from different communities here right now as a staging area for where they may need to go to try and help out with people who are in areas of the community that have been hit by these storms. So again, we're just making our way into Lake Geneva. We were in the town of Lyons, and we're going to continue to go on it and try and find some of this damage.
Yeah, I mean, this is, you can just tell by taking this live look the amount of emergency personnel at this staging area. I know it's not the clearest of shots here, but we can get the idea of just the crew. We're on standby, ready to go where help is needed. And again, if you were joining us at around 12:30 or so, we were taking live looks at Lake Geneva where they were absolutely pelted by this storm. It was some intense wind, so much heavy rainfall, and now you start that cleanup process. Again, look at all the crew on hand, ready to be sent wherever help is needed. Again, Bill Miston and his photojournalist, Eddie Poser, just arrived on scene. I know they will keep us informed with what they find. Bill, thanks so much for joining us. Anything else you wanted to mention before I let you go here?
No, but we're going to try and change some settings here to maybe try and get the picture a little bit better. I'm sure that we're dealing with some connectivity issues because of the number of storms that had rolled through, so probably the system's kind of being a little overloaded at the moment.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We appreciate you joining us here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. Obviously, this is all live, so sometimes our feeds aren't crystal clear, especially when we're talking about storm damage and the aftermath of that. And again, we've seen high amounts of power outages, so we're going to work to get that shot cleared up for you a little bit. I know it was glitchy and frozen, but even in that state, you could tell that there is a lot of emergency crew and personnel on hand right now, ready to help out. So again, Bill, his photojournalist, just got there. They will continue to check in with us here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. If you're just joining us, again, we will be live with you all the way until 4 p.m. Then our afternoon newscast will start, where we will continue to cover this now big story of the day, which was the severe storms that kind of came through our area early this afternoon. Again, we are in the clear for now when it comes to those severe threats. All watches, all warnings have expired. At one point, we had a tornado watch, a severe thunderstorm warning, and a severe thunderstorm watch, all in effect for now. All of those have expired, but again, there is still a chance for more storms, more rain this afternoon. It's a hard time for this to happen. 4th of July is such a notorious time to be out and about, and so we know it's hard when these storm systems maybe put a wrench in those plans, but that's why we're asking you to please, please, please be weather aware. I want to get us back out. It looks like Rissa, our photojournalist, who's been covering that pontoon that flipped, is now doing an interview. Let's listen in live here and see what we can learn from this gentleman.
JCKMCNULTY.
She's just starting the interview, so she's getting his name and his spelling, but then she'll start.
Holy shit.
Sorry, I know that was a little graphic language there as she gets this interview here. Apologies for that. We'll continue to listen in. He's reacting to the damage here.
Capsize. It looked like an ocean out there with the waves coming into the shore. You know, and then you just saw a random kid tubing across the middle of the lake. It was insane.
How did the storm conditions affect the boat?
This one specifically? I mean, can we pan in on it?
Yeah.
Let's pan in on it. Look at that. Lifeless. Yeah, it completely decommissioned the boat.
Was anybody on the boat at the time?
No.
No? Okay, that's good.
Everyone was out of harm's way. We were all just watching. Next thing you know, boom.
And then last question, what would you tell people about just like boat safety or water safety, especially in conditions like this?
I would say, shout out 250, baby, America. and stay safe.
All right, he was talking there a little bit more about the damage. Let me go back to the video of what he's describing here. Again, I apologize for that little bit of graphic language we heard as he kind of recounted what happened this afternoon. Interesting to hear him describe the lake look like an ocean, he said, when it was coming down to the amount of waves coming through so quickly. And he even said, you know, it happened so fast that there was a kid on a tube at the time, which again, why we ask you to please, if you can, be weather aware this weekend. We do not want anyone out on the water during these storm systems. That is such an incredibly dangerous situation. We just want everyone to stay as safe as possible. The good news here, and I know that was kind of Stephanie Barkello and I's main question when we first saw this damage, was I hope there was no one on that boat at the time. Was there anyone on the boat at the time? And you just got the clarification there. No one was on this pontoon that flipped this afternoon. That is the best case scenario. No one hurt in this instant, at least. But again, still getting more damage reports. This is the live look right now as they have continued the process here. But you heard him say that boat completely capsized, you know, not in the best state, the best situation. You wonder if it will be salvageable after spending so much time underwater here, but they are continuing to be hard at work. Again, the dock there, the pier there, also pretty significantly damaged in this afternoon storm. Again, this is Lake Delavan, and we'll continue to bring you any live updates, any new information we can get, but I am very impressed with Wisconsin and how quickly they have been working now to get this cleaned up. It does look like potentially Riss is going to chat with somebody else. Again, that's our photojournalist that is out there right now on what happened, so we'll check back in with them shortly. In the meantime, let me go through some new photos we have of storm damage. Again, this is in Delavan, more trees that are down. This is from Trisha and Connor. Thank you guys so much for sending us these photos. That is a tree blocking the road. Curious if that happens to be the same one Rissa came across, as well as, wow, more trees down. You imagine maybe some down power lines in these as well. Going to quickly get us back out here to Delavan. It looks like there are 4 girls ready to kind of recount the storm here, so we'll listen in live. We'll issue that these are live interviews, so we hope no graphic language again, but we'll dip out if that does happen.
Oh, okay.
Wait.
Again, if you're watching the Wisconsin Live Desk, sometimes you get that behind-the-scenes look at things. So our photojournalist here is setting up an interview. Maybe you'll hear a bite or two of this in the afternoon newscast, but you get to watch it happen in real time. But you see also the behind-the-scenes of miking up people, getting their names, getting their spellings, getting all that information we need for our newscast. But again, it looks like this is starting. We'll listen in.
When the storm came through, it like flipped over on the other person's dock, and I thought it was our dock. And like, yeah.
So you're crying.
I know that the storm was very powerful.
I thought it was a tornado, but I'm not sure.
It was very scary for us. Like,
yeah,
she was crying. We were all scared.
Please do not put them in. Please do not put that in. Don't put that in.
All right, these 2 girls are having a little bit of fun as they recount what exactly happened. But you did hear them say, you know, we thought it was potentially a tornado the way it came through. Just kind of gives you the better idea of the severity of the storm. Again, when we took some live looks, whether that be Kenosha, whether that be Lake Geneva, you could tell. I mean, these are strong winds. These are heavy rain. So again, we'll continue to let you know the damage that we're finding. One last photo here from Trisha and Connor I want to get to before we take a quick break here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. Again, we're seeing a lot of down trees, certainly in Delavan here, but we've also seen power outages. Actually, Delaney, if we could get the latest on power outages app, we'll pull that up for you. We were watching these grow pretty quickly earlier this afternoon. She'll get on that for us. We were seeing a lot of power outages in Racine County as well as in Kenosha County. A lot of people left in the dark. And again, we have seen trees in power lines, which can kind of explain why perhaps so many people are in the dark. That's this photo again, where you can see this down tree just really sitting in between some power lines. You imagine if the tree gives in anymore, those power lines also going to go down. So I will give you my message every time we talk down power lines, which is please do not go near them. Don't try and touch them. Don't try to walk around them. Don't try to drive over them. You never know when they're still on and active, and that can create a very dangerous situation. The other thing I say is always go ahead and report a down power line. That is because you don't know that they already know about it. So let We Energies know. Let 911 know. That will help with getting power back on as quickly as possible. We'll take a live look here. Okay, the number's still continuing to climb. Last time we took a check of this, it was about 35,000. Now I see we are at 38,404 We Energies customers currently currently without power when it comes to southeastern Wisconsin. Kenosha County continuing to get higher. When we first checked in, it was about 11,000. Now you can see it's 16,153 people without power. Also seen a lot of high numbers there in Racine County as well. So again, definitely check in on your neighbors. Make sure everybody's okay as we continue to talk storm damage and the aftermath here. Okay, looks like we have some more people talking here in Delavan about the storm system. Let's go ahead and listen in together.
North Shore Drive.
I'm sure you guys seen what the boat looked like before, and it's kind of hard to see now. But how did the storm affect the boat, in condition wise?
Probably all the cushions are knocked out, and the batteries.
Yeah, a lot of water damage.
Yeah,
we're still awaiting an assessment, so we'll definitely wait to see what
we're hoping the boat can get fixed.
Yes.
Is this your boat?
Yeah.
Oh, dang. And I assume I asked him before, but nobody was on the boat at the time.
No.
Okay.
Everybody was inside.
What is some advice or to anybody just staying safe around the water during severe storms or anything like that?
If you get a storm notification on your phone, just go inside. It's not worth it. Just don't go near the water. Don't go out on the boat, especially, because that could be a real problem.
Yeah, I'd say before you go out on the boat, make sure to check your weather app and see if any storms or anything are coming in, so you can be prepared and know what's going to happen.
Just follow the guidelines that have been given from the weather app or any other sources, and don't do anything too risky.
That was great. That was really good.
Thank you.
Really good. Thank you.
That was us hearing live some reaction actually to, it sounds like, some family members who own that pontoon. The good news is they said everybody was inside. No one was on the boat at the time. They did say, we're wondering how bad the water damage is since it is completely turned over on its side. Yes, most likely they've lost some cushions, but the bigger question is, the battery, things like that, will it be able to run again? Certainly not some answers they'll get right away. That's going to take a couple more days. But, for some young teenagers, there's some sound advice about being on the water. If you get an alert on your phone, go indoors. We always say when thunder roars, go indoors. And I loved their advice too. Before you even go out on the water, check a weather app. Make sure that there's no storms coming in your area. Again, the FOX6 Storm Center app, a great resource to have on hand when it comes to severe weather. We will notify you if there's a watch, if there's a warning. We have a live radar so you can check a storm system, especially if you're going out on a boat. You might be going out for a few hours, so it might be blue skies when you're leaving, but will it still be that situation when you're coming back? So could not recommend the FOX6 Storm Center app enough. Of course, it is also an app that travels with you, so you can set it to move when you move. So maybe you're from Wauwatosa, but you're going up to Delavan. It will travel. It will give you the up-to-date forecast that you need to know. So again, we have our crews out and about. We have them in Delavan. We have them in Lake Geneva. We have our weather experts on hand. We're going to keep you informed when it comes to the aftermath from the storm system that we saw come in earlier this afternoon from about noon to 1:30, as well as what is still expected later on this evening. Again, I know so many people out and about at Summerfest, at a drone show. We can't forget World Cup either. There's still games, and I know so many people have enjoyed going to some of those outdoor watch parties. So we'll keep you updated. We'll keep you informed. We'll check back in with some of our crew out and about in just a couple minutes. We'll take a break for now. Stay with us. everybody, welcome back to the Wisconsin Live Desk. Haley Spittler here with you at 3:10 on the dot on your Friday afternoon. And my oh my, has it been a busy afternoon for us here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. Over the last 3 hours, we have tracked some pretty severe storms. At one point, we had a tornado warning, a severe thunderstorm warning, a severe thunderstorm watch. Thankfully, all of those have expired. We expect a couple of hours now where it shall be dry. Of course, we are still anticipating the chance for some more storms this evening. So again, definitely a day to be weather aware, especially if you guys have plans to be outside. Might sound like a broken record at this point, but obviously this is a weekend where so many people do get outside, whether it's for parades, fireworks, drone shows, getting out on the water, barbecuing. We know July 4th plans usually center around spending those time outdoors, so we just want everyone to be weather aware. Add in the fact that there's Summerfest and there's the World Cup, and we know a lot of people do expect to not be inside this evening. So again, if you're heading out to any of those places, and when I say World Cup, I mean maybe one of those outdoor watch parties like we've seen at Nomad World Pub or Morin's Pub, I just want you to make sure you have a way to get alerts and maybe have a radar. And you can get both those things in the FOX6 Storm Center app, a completely free download, a great resource to have on days like today. I want to keep showing you some of the damage reports that we have been getting in now from these areas. We have a crew in Lake Geneva. We have a crew in Delavan. This is a live look here in Delavan. We've been watching some of the damage to a pontoon. So we're seeing the one boat now leave that was attached to that pontoon. We actually had heard from the family. Let me show you some video of what it looked like about 30 or 40 minutes ago at this point. Flipped over here on its side. The good news, the family said, we went inside. No one was on the pontoon at this time. Obviously still very much a headache having to flip this back over and see if it's even going to be operable. It was submerged in water for quite some time there, so you have to imagine some water damage to the engine, to the battery, things like that. And obviously taking a look at that dock, that pier, also a lot of damage there. So a headache for so many. And I'm sure that this family probably had plans to be out on that pontoon for the 4th of July. So again, continuing to get some updates for you there. Want to walk you through some of the photos that we have when it comes to storm damage as well. Again, you guys are doing us a huge favor. You're our eyes and our ears where you live when it comes to storm damage. So when it's safe to do so, which right now as we kind of are in that dry patch, we do appreciate when you snap a photo and you send it to us on fox6now.com as well as Fox Local. These are from Trisha and Connor in Delavan, and you can see it's a lot of down trees here that has been blocking some of the roads. So we've got this photo showing some debris, some down trees. This one shows a bigger tree. It's actually blocking 3/4 of the road here, so that's always hard, especially when it's a full direction of travel and then half of the other way is well covered. You imagine when you are trying to go the opposite direction, that's a little bit of a headache, and so definitely take it slow on the roads. You never know when you're going to come across some of this debris. You got this one, another one that's actually looks like a power pole that is completely snapped in half. So again, we are seeing a lot of down trees. There's a lot of trees here that are snapped as well as that power pole. Again, this is all in Delavan here. And one more look as well, some more trees that are just completely blocking roads here. So again, if you are heading out for the 4th of July or your road trip plans, I plead that you take it slow. You don't know what you're going to encounter. I'm very impressed with Wisconsinites. They have been very quick to get out and start the cleanup process here. But again, you don't know what you're going to encounter. I'm going to show you this photo again. Still trying to track down where exactly this is. I would imagine maybe Kenosha County, maybe Racine County here. But this is another down tree, and that's, I mean, that's a huge tree here that is just dangling in between two power lines, which is kind of, again, explaining for us this situation here, which is the We Energies outages. Right now, we're sitting at 38,448 customers that are in the dark. A lot of those in Kenosha County, a lot of those in Racine County, still a pretty significant amount of people in Milwaukee and Walworth County as well. And some of these people, these might be power outages from yesterday's severe storm. So again, a great opportunity to go check in on your neighbors, check in on your loved ones, make sure everybody's okay. And we will certainly continue to be in touch here with We Energies as they work to get power restored for all of these customers. Again, it's a storm that came by so fast, and I think this photo here does a great job of painting the picture, and it just snapped power poles, it's downed power lines. It's what's creating that pretty high number there of power outages. So again, if you're tuning into the Wisconsin Live Desk, thanks so much for being with us. We'll be with you all the way till 4 p.m., continuing to cover now the storm damage and the aftermath from this afternoon's severe weather that really hit some of our areas quite hard. We saw intense wind and intense rain for about a solid 90 minutes there. And now we do what we do after a storm, which is report on the damage. So far, when we've come across a lot of downed trees and things like that, the good news is that it has not been on homes. We haven't heard of anyone hurt yet. Even that pontoon that was flipped, thankfully nobody was on it. So again, continuing to monitor a couple of different things. We do have our crew also that is in Lake Geneva right now. They're at a staging area. It sounds like potentially we might actually be able to get some updates from law enforcement. If you saw our live look we took there a little bit ago, it is so much fire trucks and ambulances and just emergency personnel on hand ready to be called and dispatched where they need to go. So again, we do expect to potentially hear some updates there. I know that was a hard shot if you were here with us. It's kind of blurry, so we're working to get you some more details there, and we'll certainly keep you updated. It does sound like our reporter Bill Miston is ready on standby here to give us an update on what he has encountered. I see him on the move, so we might not be able to go to him just yet. I'm looking to my side at what we call our routers. If you're just tuning into Wisconsin Live Desk, I'm actually my own director, so I pull up the different camera shots here. So we just want to make sure Bill is ready, which we've gotten the indication that he is. Bill, you are on with us here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. What is the latest here at the staging area?
Yeah, well, just to give you an idea of the amount of resources that have come from far and wide, we just saw another stream of fire equipment roll in, some from St. Francis as well as Milwaukee. They have their structural collapse unit here as well as some other support vehicles. So lots of different fire agencies from all around the area, including Northern Illinois, here in Lake Geneva in response to the storms that kind of came through this area late this morning. So we're hopefully awaiting some information from officials here in a short time, but just wanted to give you an update on just the more resources that have come in since from areas that are closer to Milwaukee, like St. Francis and Milwaukee itself, Milwaukee Fire, St. Francis Fire.
Again, Bill is joining us here from the staging area, which to his point, you can see so many different emergency personnel on hand here from so many different areas in southeastern Wisconsin, kind of waiting to be dispatched and told where to go if anyone's in need of help, where that damage is. Bill is on a 10-second delay just because they're trying to get this shot to be a little bit clearer, just to explain why sometimes you have to wait to hear his answers. Bill, I know you mentioned potentially a presser coming soon. That would obviously provide us some more answers. Have you been able to talk to any of the personnel here on scene? Do we know if there's anyone hurt in this storm system yet, or are we still waiting to learn that at that potential press conference?
Yeah, we're still waiting to get information from officials as to the extent of the damage and any possible injuries, but as of right now, we haven't heard anything of that nature. Again, here's some more incident command posts and engines coming from Milwaukee Fire, just rolling into the parking lot here at the Piggly Wiggly on the northeast side of Lake Geneva. And yeah, again, we're hoping to get some more information, but this is obviously a large response and a lot of assistance coming from other communities to try and help out where any help might be needed. On our way into Lake Geneva, we were in the town of Lyons, where we saw some considerable damage there from downed trees, limbs that had fallen on houses. It appeared that everyone was doing all right. They were already starting to do the cleanup there. I don't know if we'd be able to play some of that video and sound from earlier that we had, but people we talked to said that those storms, they came up out of nowhere, and it was a wild, hairy moments there for them as they were going about their day, a Friday before the 4th of July, and then that storm comes through, and has them scrambling for cover, and then now doing a lot of cleanup. So lots of just small debris everywhere, but also some trees that we had seen that were uprooted from the ground, as well as there were some road closures elsewhere near unincorporated Springfield, which is in the town of Lyons, because of a tree that was hanging too close to some power lines. I think right now, photojournalist Edward Poser might be on a group of he's on a group of people that appear to be getting some sort of briefing or something right there. So we're hoping to maybe get some information here in a little bit. But again, here in Lake Geneva, outside the Piggly Wiggly, where there's a staging area of a variety of different municipalities that have come to help out because of those storms.
Again, Bill Miston there reporting for us live. Signal and connectivity issues just ever so slightly. We're talking about an area also. We're talking a lot of power outages right now, so that's why there's that delay sometimes between when I'm asking a question and Bill is answering. We appreciate him and his photojournalist so much for showing us what that staging area looks like right now. And you heard Bill mention the potential for a press conference. If and when that happens, we will bring that to you live in its entirety, whether that be in the next 40 minutes, which would be the Wisconsin Live Desk, or if it happens in our afternoon newscast, which will also start again at 4 o'clock. We will get you any and all updates. So far, we have not heard of anyone hurt, which has been the best case scenario, but certainly still waiting for some more reports in. He did mention, and I'll show you that angle again, actually maybe being debriefed before going out to some areas that have damage, kind of learning. And again, stick with us. I know it's not the clearest of shots here. This is kind of starting to focus a little bit better for you. But I will always say this whenever I am tasked with doing any sort of storm damage. It is sometimes in the hardest situations that you get to see the best of humanity and look at all of the different towns and areas and cities responding to that call for help on the 3rd of July, all coming together here saying, we're here, send us where you need us to go. We are ready and prepared. And that is always what is so beautiful about our community here in Wisconsin. We see it time and time again. Even right here, we see Grays Lake Fire District. We see Janesville, a kind of fire department there with that ambulance. We've seen some Waukesha. So we are talking so many departments that have all come together here in Lake Geneva at this staging area, waiting to find out where people are in need of help, and then they're going to go that way. Reiterating it in case anyone just joined us on the Wisconsin Live Desk. Potentially going to have a press conference here shortly where we might get some updates from emergency personnel. If and when that happens, we're going to bring it to you live right here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. In the meantime, let's take a live look here at We Energy's outages, as we have seen photos you guys have sent us of some down power lines, and this is explaining why this number is so high right now. We're talking 38,414 people without power, seeing a lot of it in Kenosha County, a lot of it in Racine County, and again, even Milwaukee and Walworth County high as well. So we will continue to look at these outages, get you some information about maybe when they're anticipating power being restored. When it comes to some of the damage, and I want to get this one photo up for you that Trisha and Connor sent us from Delavan. I mean, this one might take a little bit longer when you're looking at kind of that power pole completely snapped in half and those downed lines as well. So again, some of these might be more complicated fixes that will take a little bit to get power restored. But if I know We Energy's from talking to Brendan Conway so many times before on the live desk, they usually have a plan, they're prepared, and they will work as hard as possible to get power restored as quickly as possible. Again, if you come across a down power line, please avoid it. Don't go near it. Don't walk over it. Don't drive over it. Don't assume that it's not active, because they can be a very dangerous situation. We just want everyone to be as safe as possible. Obviously, earlier today, a pretty severe system that went through our area, but I know a lot of you guys probably wondering what is still to come, especially if you have any afternoon, evening plans outdoors. Want to go ahead and bring in our meteorologist, Holly Baker. She is behind the scenes right now. All right, Holly, what is the latest for us?
Hey, Haley. So, yes, the latest for us is we are still on the watch for more storms, but for right now, we do have a lot of dry time, especially for those Summerfest goers. But I'm going to take a bigger look at the picture here for you so that you can kind of see what we are watching next. So the next area that we're going to be watching overall, it's going to be the area out to the west. So you do see that there is some clearing. I'm going to try and find a little arrow or something for you to be able to see exactly what I'm talking about. So This particular area right here is where it's clearing, so we definitely could see some more potential for development. We're already seeing some potential where you see some of the cloud formation, where you see those little green dots. We got to watch those particular areas there because that could bring us more rain, especially as we head throughout the rest of tonight. Now, I'll go ahead and pull up our sky vision so we can kind of look at the timing of some of that ourselves. So you do notice that we are going to continue to have some dry time, but you then start to see, at least by 7 o'clock, a little bit of formation, maybe not too much, which is good for us, but then boom, it starts to pop really in between that 9 to 10 o'clock hour where we see some of those stronger storm cells out to the west. That continues to move closer to our area, so at least by midnight, we're seeing more potential for stronger storms. As we head overnight, most of that will start to make its way over the lake. So majority of our overnight hours will be dry and partly cloudy for the most part. Now, as we get into Saturday's forecast, that is 4th of July. A lot of people are looking forward to the 4th of July. I know that there is a drone show tonight. We do have a very small window for some rain, so we are going to be watching that closely, and hopefully the drone show doesn't get canceled. Now, heading into Saturday's forecast, Saturday morning, the later morning could be just a little bit more of those scattered showers as you're seeing here as we make our way towards after the lunch hour. Still going to be kind of cloudy out there with a little bit more of those the scattered rain kind of pushing through. And then as we head towards Saturday night, this is when most activities take off for 4th of July, especially when the sun is getting ready to set. We start to see a little bit more of those scattered thunderstorms in the forecast here. That continues really from 6 o'clock all the way up until after midnight, where we're still seeing a lot of that rain in the area. Not really going to dry out too much heading into Sunday morning. But then as we head closer to the afternoon on Sunday, the conditions start to improve a little bit more, but we're still tracking a chance for rain on that Sunday. Now, here's a look at that 6-day planner for you. We do have that slight chance of rain on Sunday. And then we look drier heading into next week with temperatures in the 80s. Now, we do have a few late breezes that will kick in as well. But I am liking what I am seeing, Haley, as far as those rain chances. We do get storms that we have a chance for on Thursday of next week. But at least for the start of the week, it is looking better. Temperature is a little bit cooler. No 90s out there. But we're going to be in the 80s. So I think that we'll be in the sweet spot after we get through this weekend. And I will say this, just a quick note on the rain. I know a lot of people, are not excited about the fact that we have rain, but I do believe that this is a good thing for us simply because with fireworks, this helps eliminate fire hazard or fires starting because the ground will be already wet from all the rain. So that's going to be good for us here in southeast Wisconsin with receiving some of the rain. And also, too, we're still in a drought where we have drought conditions out there. So we would like for those to continue to improve. And the only way that'll happen is we get more rain, Haley. So I do think the rain that we're getting is much needed.
Holly giving us some good perspective there, while the rain may be putting a little bit of damper on our plans this afternoon and evening and tomorrow. Appreciated that perspective, where she said actually it's probably for the best that we get these grounds a little bit wet with this rain. All right, we're going to take another quick break here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. Then we'll get you back out to Lake Geneva, take another look at that staging area, as well as just walk you through some more damage photos and videos that you guys are sending us. Again, if you have them at the ready or you're taking them, please submit them for us. We will show them here on Wisconsin Live Desk. I'm sure they're using plenty of these photos and videos as well in our afternoon newscasts. Send them to us on fox6now.com, on Fox Local, as well as that FOX6 Storm Center app. All great opportunities for you to submit any sort of damage photo or video that you may have now that it is safe to go out and maybe photograph and film some of the debris and damage that you are seeing. All right, we're going to take a quick break here on the Live Desk. We'll be right back after this.
Desk.
Welcome back to the Wisconsin Live Desk. Haley Spittler here with you at 3:32 on your Friday afternoon. Obviously, just getting another look at the forecast there from Holly, who just joined us before that commercial break, saying, yes, the threat from the severe systems that came through this afternoon is over, but there is a chance for some more this evening. So again, if you have any outdoor plans, please stay weather aware. I'm included in that. I'm going to Summerfest tonight. By no means do I want those rain showers or any severe storms to hit us, but I will be prepared just in case they do happen. Won't be caught off guard by any means. Want to give us another quick look outside here in Lake Geneva. This is that staging area where we have seen so many different departments all come together to help Lake Geneva. Obviously, that's their mobile command there. We can see Grays Lake. We can see Janesville. We can see all of these people just kind of waiting on the call for who needs help, where they are, what they can do. And this, again, you can just see so many people from all over southeastern Wisconsin coming together here in Lake Geneva, which if you've been with us the last couple of hours, we took that live look in Lake Geneva during the storms, really from the water there, where it was intense wind and intense rainfall. And Stephanie and Rob and myself and Delaney, as we really watched that feed, we just hoped that nobody was out on the water at the time and that everyone was able to make it indoors safely. Speaking of kind of the storm coming through the area of Lake Geneva, I know we have a live, or not live look, but a video Connie sent in. She said this was about 5 to 10 minutes before the storm hit. We'll show you that right now. And again, this was, she's saying, 5 to 10 minutes before the hardest part of that storm. And I mean, look at these trees just be whipped in the wind back and forth, right and left, and you can tell the amount of water coming down. And look how it kind of, the water isn't falling straight, but you'll see it kind of pushed to the side even as it's coming down because of the significant wind here in this scenario, as well as we've heard from people near Lake Delavan. They said, it almost felt like an ocean, not a lake, because of the waves that were created so quickly. And again, this really did pop up quick. It made its way out of the area relatively quick as well, but that's why we just want you to be weather aware, especially if you are going to be out on the water. And I'm going to say it again, but I know that this weekend, so many of you guys, that is your plan, is to be out on the water and celebrate the 4th, celebrate America's 250th by being on the water, soaking in the sun, enjoying the waves and the boating activities and the beach. But if that's what your plans are, we just ask you to please be weather aware, checking the radar as well, because things have been changing so quickly when it comes to these storms, how they pop up, but they certainly leave behind a lot of damage. Again, this is that staging area in Lake Geneva because of the amount of crew that they needed on standby. Just to be ready to be kind of deployed to different areas as those calls come in for any potential help or any damage, things like that. We were hearing potentially there was going to be a press conference. We're not sure if that's still going to happen. Obviously, Bill Miston and Eddie Poser, our journalist and photojournalist, are on scene. So if that happens, we will absolutely bring it to you here on the Wisconsin Live Desk or on our afternoon newscast. We're starting to approach kind of the last 20 or so minutes of the Wisconsin Live Desk. But again, we'll have seamless coverage for you. This will go until 4, and that's when our afternoon newscast will also pick up to 6:30. So again, we've got you covered all the way through this afternoon, especially if any other storm chances or threats pop up. We've got you covered. We do have a little bit of an update from the Town of Geneva Police Department. Just want to read you a statement they put out on their Facebook, as again, we take a live look here at Lake Geneva. They say, police, fire, and the highway department are actively patrolling the area and working to clear roadways and debris. At this time, access to the Lake Como subdivision is restricted to residents only. If you do not live in the subdivision, please do not enter the area until further notice. You will be turned away. We are aware of the power outages and other service disruptions and are working closely with utility companies to restore services as quickly and safely as possible. If you have an emergency, please call 911. Thank you for your patience and cooperation as crews continue their work. Again, this is coming from the Town of Geneva Police Department on their Facebook page there. You might have heard there a mention here really of the power outages. Again, when and we've been checking that on We Energies. They are high, especially in Racine and Kenosha County. So again, please be safe out there. And again, we're seeing a lot of these downed trees really affecting power lines, which explains why we're seeing such a high number of power outages. Last check, I believe it was about 35,000 people without power that are We Energies customers this afternoon. Again, this is a tree, a pretty significant size tree, dangling between two power lines. So you imagine if any time this tree gives in any more snaps, those power lines most likely going to come down with it. We've also seen power poles that have completely snapped in these storms as well. And you can see some of the power lines there dangling and on the road. So again, if you come across this, please report it to We Energies. Call 911. Let them know there's some down power lines. It will help speed up the restoration process. But when it comes to something like this, that's a more intensive restoration process when you have to kind of rebuild the power pole there. So again, have patience. I know it's hard to be in the dark. I know it's hard when you maybe have 4th of July plans, and this is certainly putting a damper on it. Speaking of putting a damper on your kind of holiday weekend plans, take a look at this. Again, this was a pontoon boat in Lake Delavan that was flipped over during the storm, and you can see again the pier there, the dock there, also dealing with some significant damage. We heard from some of the teen children of this boat's kind of family who said thankfully no one was on the boat when it happened. They said they went inside when things got bad, so they're all okay, which is what's most important here. As for the boat, well, we don't know the status of that yet. You have to imagine when it's been flipped over for as long as it was, there's some amount of water damage, whether that be to an engine or to the battery. I know they mentioned, the cushions are probably gone. That's a fair assessment when it's upside down like that. But again, certainly not a timely situation for them when I imagine there was a lot of plans this weekend surrounding that pontoon boat. But what matters more is people, and the good news is no one was on the pontoon when it happened. We heard from another neighbor living nearby. Obviously, you can see several docks in this area, several homes next to each other, who said that when the storm picked up, it looked like an ocean because of how strong the waves were that were being created by those winds. And he looked over, and on the water there was a kid in a tube, is what that neighbor told us here. Again, that is why if you're going to be on the water this weekend, please try and be weather aware. We know these things, they come in fast, but usually they're somewhere on the radar there. So if you have an app like the FOX6 Storm Center app where you can get a live update on the radar and also check what it's going to be like, not just right now, but in the next 20, 30, 40 minutes or however long you're planning on being out in the water, it can certainly save you a headache and make sure that you're not far away from home or in the water, but inside on dry land when something like this hits. So again, certainly an active afternoon here for us on the Wisconsin Live Desk. I actually want to give you another live look of our weather truck right now. Rissa used to be in Delavan. I'm not sure where she is now, but she's certainly encountering some more downed trees here. She just drove past one that was actually blocking part of this road. And as she drives here, you'll see even more down trees, albeit smaller ones, kind of on both sides here. Look in front, another down tree. I think this is really going to be the name of the game today, is a lot of just strong winds. It looks to be more down trees directly in front of her now. Knocked down a lot of trees, and really we're seeing trees of all sizes. That's another significant one there. Another pretty big one here you can see just completely snapped. She just pulled up here. Thankfully, it's looking like that tree completely avoided the home, but I'm interested to see, and Delaney's working on finding out where exactly Rissa is right now as we take a live look. My goodness, look at this tree that Rissa just drove up on that has completely snapped off some branches, and it looks like part of those trees just dangling now by power lines, which again could certainly explain the situation here with the high amount of We Energies customers currently without power. You can see an unmarked police kind of van there with its lights flashing near this down tree. But again, really a lot of debris left behind from this afternoon storm. It was in the area for maybe about 90 minutes, but certainly left behind quite a bit of damage. We're seeing a lot, again, of down trees. Honestly, we only took Rissa's shot here the last minute or so, but every direction we looked, we were seeing those down trees of all sizes. And again, she just pulled up on a pretty significant one. I mean, look at both sides of the road. Obviously, there's that big one to the left side of the road that we can see kind of intertwined with some power lines, and just see some of the huge amounts of that tree and those branches snapped off, I'm imagining, by strong winds this afternoon. But even on the other side, of the right side of the screen here, you can see some more pretty significant tree limbs just knocked down by these strong winds. So far, we have not heard of anyone hurt in this storm system. That is good news for now. We're working to get any new reports on that, any clarification we can. And also, so far, most of these trees that we've seen thankfully have kind of snapped and fallen in lawns and in roads, and not into homes or any sort of property, which is, again, another good situation here. So if you're joining us right now, taking a live look from our weather truck, and we can see several down trees here. It does look like there's at least some law enforcement, some flashing lights on scene of this pretty significant one here. Again, we're going to work to find out where exactly Rissa is. She's doing a great job driving around that weather truck, finding us damage. She's the one that came about that pontoon boat that had flipped over in the lake there. So again, we'll keep kind of getting some updates from her where exactly she is. But I think that this is going to explain a lot of what's going on. And Delaney, if you're able to, getting me the We Energies power outages, the latest there, that would be helpful for us, because we're seeing just, again, a lot of these downed trees that are actually knocking into power lines, which is what's going to create such a headache here. And it's not a small amount of power outages. At last check, it was like 35,000. So Delaney's going to work on that right now, getting us those latest numbers. Again, the highest we were seeing, Racine, Kenosha counties. That makes sense. That's where a lot of those severe thunderstorm warnings, I believe that's also potentially where that tornado warning was earlier this afternoon. Here you go. Here are the updated numbers. I do want to note, this is like 3,000 down. So We Energies certainly doing a great job, already being out there, restoring quickly what they're able to. So now we have 35,396 We Energies customers without power. Kenosha County gone down actually a lot. It looks like most of the power that's been restored in the last 20 or so minutes has been in Kenosha County. Certainly still a lot of people in the dark as well, as you look at 12,869 who still need their power back on. Racine County now kind of topping this list here with 14,413. As far as the rest of the counties, we're not seeing a ton of movement there. Milwaukee County still close to about 5,500. Walworth County about 1,800. And then it goes into smaller numbers. Still, I mean, frustrating if you're even just that one person or those 12 people in Jefferson County. We know it's hard to be without your power, especially if potentially some of these might be from yesterday in the severe storm we saw then. So again, looking at these totals, we know We Energies is out and about. They always tell us when we talk to Brendan Conway, a spokesperson for We Energies, that they are prepared for this. They usually bring in the right proper staffing. But again, when you get into situations kind of like this, where it's a little bit more significant restoration process, when you've got some down power lines, or like this one where the power pole is just completely snapped in half, that's going to take some more time. That's a more complex fix. So again, have patience if you're able. If you have portable chargers, go grab those. That could help you as you wait for your power to be restored on this holiday weekend. It does look like we got some information here from Rissa as far as where she is right now. She tells us she's on Queen Road and County Trunk H, monitoring trees that have fallen from the storm. And again, really, as she was driving this whole way, we were just seeing trees left and right from that have been down from this storm. A pretty big one there on the left. It's another pretty big one on the right. Even just the branches, some of these trees not fully down, kind of the situation there on the left, but the things that have fallen still pretty significant. This is near Como, Wisconsin. This was also where I believe there's a subdivision that you cannot enter unless you live there, because they're dealing with some significant damage there. So again, we have crews out and about right now, talking to neighbors, figuring out the situation. We heard Bill talk to some people from the town of Lyons, how quickly the storm rolled in. There was also a lot of down trees there. They were already working on the cleanup process. Again, we also heard of some significant damage in Lake Geneva. That's why they have set up this staging area where there are crews from all over southeastern Wisconsin, all gathered in one spot, waiting to be told where they need to go, who needs help, what they can do, and then they will go that way next. It looks like we've got Harvard Fire, Janesville Fire, Grays Lake Fire. I saw Waukesha earlier. So again, people really just answering the call from all over on this holiday weekend, ready to help wherever it is needed. So again, waiting to hear if there's a presser. We're not sure if there's going to be, but until then, our other crew is just out and about. This again near Como, Wisconsin, Queen Road and County Trunk H. That is actually Rissa right now, out and about from the car. Looks like she's snapping some closer photos and videos as she comes across damage. And again, if you have any photos or videos of damage near you, we would love to see it. It really helps us understand the widespread damage from a storm system like this. So now that it's safe to do so, we would greatly appreciate it if you have come across anything to send us that. You can send us photos, you can send us videos, fox6now.com, the Fox Local app, or that FOX6 Storm Center app. Delaney, if you're able, can you switch tagboard back to that Lake Geneva video of the storm? Connie sent us a video that was about 5 to 10 minutes before the kind of main storm came through. But I mean, look at this area as these trees just whip back and forth, right to left, and the amount of water that was coming down. And I want to notice, if you watch it fall, it's not falling straight down, it's falling sideways because of how strong and significant the rain was. And I mean, if you look into the distance, visibility not great either. And that was certainly the situation we saw on the water in Lake Geneva as we took that live look from the cruise line. It was also the situation on some DOT cameras in Kenosha. Certainly a storm that came in fast, was scary in the moment. We heard from our live desk host and producer, Maddie Stelk, who's off today on her way to a wedding in the Chicago area, who had to pull over because it was so strong. The storms in Racine County is where she pulled over, which again, we're in the clear now. But if you ever do encounter something like that, that is the best thing to do. There's really no reason to have to drive through a storm. It's better to pull over. Yes, maybe you're waiting 10, 20, 30 minutes, but you will arrive safely to your destination. That's always what's most important, especially when it's a situation where we really, I mean, and I wish we had video of it, the Kenosha camera when we first went to it, that DOT camera around 12:20 or so, we couldn't even tell you that it was a highway. Like, you wouldn't have been able to see that it was a highway. We knew it because it was a DOT camera, but you could not see anything. You could just make out some orange lettering from one of the highway signs. Otherwise, it just looked like a gray situation. So again, visibility hard during this storm as well. Going to take another quick break here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. We'll continue to show you damage. Maybe try and get you one last check of your forecast as well. Obviously, everyone here kind of getting ready for our afternoon newscast, which will start for you shortly at 4 o'clock. So we got seamless coverage for you. We're not going anywhere here on Fox Local. Thanks so much for being with us. We'll continue to cover our big story of the day, this weather.
is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Welcome back to the Wisconsin Live Desk. Haley Spittler here with you at 3:53 on your Friday afternoon. It is July 3rd. We imagine many of you may be off today for the holiday, maybe tuning in because of these severe storms that really came through our area. We are now kind of finding out the aftermath, seeing the damage roll in from those storms, especially in Kenosha and Racine counties and Walworth counties. Some of those areas definitely hit the hardest by those strong winds and just intense rainfall. Again, as far as current severe threats, yes, we are in the clear. All of our warnings and watches expired around 1:30 this afternoon. However, we are still anticipating the chance for more rain, more severe storms this afternoon and evening. So definitely something just to stay in the know, be weather aware. If you are going anywhere, whether that be Summerfest, whether that be the drone show, whether that be a fireworks show, and stay weather aware tomorrow for parades. Make sure nothing gets canceled. If the McKinley Beach kind of lakefront drone show, it's the second year of that happening in Milwaukee, is part of your evening plans. As of right now, all systems are a go for those 900 drones to fly. If it gets canceled, and it has not been canceled yet, if it is, they already announced that the postponement day would be Sunday, July 5th. That's when you would be able to catch that drone show. Again, as of right now, it is still all systems a go for 9:15 tonight at McKinley Beach. I want to give you a couple more live looks here in our final couple minutes of the Wisconsin Live Desk. Again, this is from our photojournalist, Rissa. She's in our weather truck. She's on Queen Road and County Trunk H, currently monitoring some trees that fell in the storm. She also took this video for us where she actually said that crews seem to have been able to reopen all lanes here. They've been doing a great job cleaning up the debris. I am truly so impressed with the response time. We saw people in their own front yards cleaning up trees as soon as it was safe to do so. So again, people working hard to get power restored as quickly as possible, to get roads reopened as quickly as possible, but certainly, again, a situation we are continuing to monitor here. This is in, again, Como, Wisconsin. Want to show you a couple of photos from Delavan and actually read you a Facebook post from the Town of Delavan Police Department. They say the Town of Delavan Police Department and Fire Department are currently assessing storm damage throughout the community. Please avoid unnecessary travel, whether by vehicle or on foot, while emergency personnel and utility crews work to identify hazards and clear roadways. They say there are multiple trees, downed power lines, and I want to show you this one that shows you those downed power lines, and other storm-related dangers throughout the area. Please remember, never approach or drive over downed power lines. Always assume they are energized. Use extreme caution if you must travel. And they say report any immediate hazards or emergencies by calling 911. We appreciate your patience and cooperation as crews work to keep our community safe. One more photo here from the town of Delavan, and as we talk about down trees and down power lines, again, another viewer submitted photo here that shows that pretty significant tree really just dangling in the power line. So again, please never approach a down power line. Assume it's on, assume it is energized. Don't drive over it, don't touch it. Just alert 911, alert We Energies that is currently down so they can work to restore power as quickly as possible. Speaking of power outages, let's get you one final look here on the Wisconsin Live Desk of those We Energies numbers. Again, they are going down. I know that's hard when you're looking at a number almost at 34,000, but we've seen a significant drop of a couple thousand here in Kenosha County. Racine County, 13,147 people without power. Kenosha County, close to 13,000 people that are in the dark. Still seeing a significant amount as Milwaukee and Walworth. Have patience. They are out. They are working to restore as quickly as possible. Some of these are a little bit more complex of damage when you look at those kind of severed power poles. So again, certainly a lot of damage we've seen. If you can send us your photos, your videos, fox6now.com, Fox Local, or of course that FOX6 Storm Center app. We'll get as many as we can up in our afternoon newscast starting here very soon at 4 p.m. So again, we got you covered when it comes to today's storm damage and the aftermath again, as well as what's coming up next. I know so many of you have plans most likely to be out and about at Summerfest, be out and about at drone shows, fireworks shows, parades. We've got you covered. Please get that app. Be weather aware. We're going to keep you as safe as possible. Thanks so much for joining me here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. Stay tuned. 4 o'clock newscast coming up next.